A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Kroger Tender-Ray Beef, no other beef so fresh can be so tender, presents Hearts in Harmony, transcribed.
Ladies, down at our store, I'm asked many times each day to explain just why Kroger Tender-Ray Beef is not available right now. I don't mind explaining. Fact is, I'm glad to tell the folks the reasons for the shortage of those fine, fresh, and tender Kroger Tender-Ray steaks and roasts. I'm glad because I know the people who visit our Kroger store truly appreciate top-quality beef. Right there, by the way, is the reason for the shortage. We just can't get top-quality grade because that kind of beef is grain-fed. And grain-fed beef is always used for Kroger Tender-Ray. No, America is not producing grain-fed cattle because that precious grain is urgently needed elsewhere. It's needed overseas to feed the starving peoples of many countries. So that's the reason you can't get Kroger Tender-Ray beef when you ask for it at your Kroger store these days. Don't forget, though, Kroger Tender-Ray beef is world famous, for no other beef so fresh can be so tender. And please remember, too, that until the day you can buy Kroger Tender-Ray beef again, Kroger will always bring you the very best beef on the market whenever it's available.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much indeed. And now, Hearts in Harmony. The week is here, and as the days pass, before long the hour will be here, and Penny Gibbs will be Mrs. Stephen J. Parker. As he promised, Steve has finished his work in New York and is in Rossville till he and Penny leave on their honeymoon. Steve says...
And you know something, Penny?
Nope.
We haven't said one word to each other about a honeymoon.
That's right, we haven't, Steve. Oh, there's something the matter with us. I thought all people about to be married talked about their honeymoons by the hour.
I know. I talked over honeymoon plans with all my other wives.
Oh? And how many wives have you had?
Oh, just a mere 13. I didn't want to take all the girls out of circulation. Oh, we do have to decide on a honeymoon, darling.
Well, you decide.
Oh, I think the good book says the young lady sort of gets first choice.
Well, we've done so little else by the book. Why don't we do this differently, too? You decide.
New York?
That won't be much fun for you. Haven't you seen enough of New York?
Alone, yes, but with you, I'll never be able to see enough of anything.
Oh, Steve, you make the sweetest speeches.
Nothing especially sweet about that. It's the truth. And it wasn't a speech. I hate speeches.
Well, then it was a nice thing to say.
No, it wasn't even nice. It was the right thing to say.
Well, whatever it was, you don't have to say it, Steve. I just love the idea of you wanting to be with me anywhere. I know you can think of a place, though, that'd be more fun for you than New York.
Oh, all joking aside, darling. I could spend the rest of my life, honeymoon and all, right here in Rossville. As long as I could spend it with you.
Steve Parker, if you deny that that's a speech, I'll know you're joking.
Look, a guy in love doesn't joke.
Are you in love? Who's the lucky girl?
Oh, you know her.
Do I? Well?
Not as well as I do.
Well, what's her name?
Doesn't matter what her name is. Saturday this week she's going to answer to the name of Mrs. Parker.
Not the wife of Stephen J. Parker.
Yep.
Oh, I've heard of him.
Yeah? What'd you think of him?
Well, he's handsome, but not too handsome. And sweet. Almost too sweet. And very brilliant, but not so brilliant it hurts. Very wonderful, but not so wonderful that he's unbelievable.
Sounds like a great guy.
He is.
You really like him?
Like it. Come here, I'll tell you a secret.
What?
You promise you won't tell anybody.
Promise.
Not even this Stephen J. Parker?
Well, I don't even speak to that guy if I can help it. What do you want to tell me?
I don't like Steve Parker at all.
You don't?
No.
Why not?
Because I love him too much.
You love him. How much?
Enough to marry him.
You're going to marry Steve Parker? When?
This coming Saturday.
No kidding?
No kidding.
Well, what do you know?
Well, what do I know?
Oh, you must be the girl I'm going to marry.
I was hoping you'd get around to saying that.
Oh, we certainly got off the subject of the honeymoon, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what let's do for a honeymoon.
What?
Steve, let's just travel. Just drive down this road and then that road for days and days and days.
It's a deal.
With no place special to go.
Who wants to go anywhere when you're around? Except right into your arms like this.
Oh, darling.
Hey, let's sit on the piano bench and you can sing me a song.
Steve, you don't want me to sing. Every day of our lives you're going to hear me try to sing some song or other.
You think you're bad?
Well, I'm not the best.
Well, not the best, but fair or bad, you better sing and get me used to it now.
I see a little premarital training,
Well, you might call it that.
Well, let's see if this breaks you in gently to my ability as a singer.
Nice piano.
Oh, give credit to the piano.
Oh, sure, it plays itself.
Well, let's see how you like the song.
I can tell now I'm going to like it.
Well, tell me how you like it afterwards here.
Somebody said that someone saw you out last night. Somebody said that someone held you awfully tight. Somebody was mistaken, for it can't be right. It couldn't be true, it couldn't be true, or could it? Could it? Somebody said they heard you telling someone new all of the little love words that you told me to. I wouldn't doubt you, darling, I believe in you. It couldn't be true, it couldn't be true, or could it? Somebody said they heard you telling someone new all of the little love words that you told me to. I wouldn't doubt you, darling, I believe in you. It couldn't be true, it couldn't be true, or could it?
Well?
Do I have to tell you exactly what I thought of it?
We might as well start being honest right now.
Well, I hate to tell you this, Penny, but...
But what?
But it was wonderful. Now I suppose you wear a hat 2 sizes larger than usual.
No, Steve, you're prejudiced. But I hope you always are.
You're happy, aren't you?
Very.
No troubles?
Nope, no troubles.
No worries?
No, not a worry, Steve. Not even a small one.
You're even happy about... All about the way things have turned out with Jerry Manson?
Why do you mention her, Steve?
I had to, Penny. I know you're still thinking about her. Wondering what she's going to do next. Half afraid that at any moment she'll still wreck our marriage for us.
Do you think she will? Or can?
No.
Well, then why should I worry about it?
You do, though, don't you?
Only a little.
Penny?
Yes, Steve, I do. I'm still afraid of her.
But you invited her to our wedding. She told me so just before I left New York.
Well, of course I invited her to our wedding.
Because you thought you had to?
Oh, no, Steve, because I wanted to. I have no hard feelings toward her.
Good girl. You shouldn't, really. She's done a lot of harm, sure, but actually she hasn't meant to do it, Penny. She's just a jealous, selfish person, that's all. She can't help what she does. She's tricky and scheming by instinct, not by design.
I know that, Steve. That's why I'm worried. I'm still afraid that she'll do something before Saturday and our wedding so that Saturday and our wedding will never come.
Yes? Yes, I'll tell Professor Tobin what you said, sir. He's right here in my room now. Goodbye. Beasley wants you to call him tonight, Professor Tobin.
All right, Professor Rogers. But will you remind me? I have a terrible time remembering telephone calls.
Sure, I'll remind you. Have you finished reading those papers I brought from New York?
Just reading the last paragraph now.
Oh, excuse me. Well?
Splendid, my boy. Splendid.
If authentic.
Why, of course they're authentic. Makes you think they aren't.
The source?
But what better source could you have got them from, my boy, than from the Manson girl? These are from the Manson girl, aren't they?
Oh, yes. And I went with her while she got them, so I know where they came from, too.
Splendid, my boy, splendid. These are just what we need to help us into the final steps of our experiment.
The final steps, huh?
Yes. You should be glad.
No, this is the part I dread the most.
You could have avoided this final step by not getting these papers.
I had to get them, you know that.
Yes. And I worried that you'd back down at the last moment.
No, Professor Tobin, I don't back down from anything. Not once I start it. And not if I think what I'm doing is right.
You know this is right, of course.
I hope so. But it's almost too late to do anything about it if it's wrong.
Yes, isn't it? The Manson girl actually gave you these papers, huh? How did you manage it?
By managing her?
You are great with the ladies, aren't you?
No, I'm a fool, and they know it, so they like me. Because a fool is so easy to, well, fool.
But who had done the fooling this time? You didn't tell her why you wanted these papers, did you?
I may be a fool, Professor Tobin, but I'm not stupid.
I'd say you were positively brilliant. Now, about the next move.
The final step?
The final step.
Well, you're to call Beasley tonight. I suppose that's the first thing to do.
Yes, and tell him these papers are on their way.
Yeah. Then what?
Then we'll correlate all that we've discovered in our experiment here and send that on to Beasley.
And then?
Wait for the final orders.
That's all?
Unless something goes wrong along the way.
Oh.
What are you thinking, my boy?
Nothing.
You were thinking that something might go wrong along the way? Am I right?
You blame me for hoping that?
No, you're only human. Maybe too human for a thing like this.
I'm a school teacher, Professor. That's all I want to be from now on.
From now on, until the experiment is over, you are to be more than just a school teacher, Professor Rogers.
Yes, I know.
Remember that. And remember this, too. The ball is rolling. It can't be stopped now.
I could stop it.
You could, but you won't. You have a duty to perform. You signed a pledge. Don't go back on it.
I won't.
Good. Take consolation in this, my boy. Though the ball is rolling, the worst will soon be over.
Why is Professor Rogers so upset? What is he upset about? What papers has Jerry Manson given him? And does this have anything to do with the coming marriage of Penny and Steve Parker? Be sure to listen to the next dramatic episode of Hearts in Harmony.
You know, ladies, seems to me most everybody enjoys picnics. But there's no need to wait for the proper season and state of weather, because you can have an indoor picnic just any time you please. Now, we'd always like to offer you a fresh and tender, world-famous Kroger Tenderay steak to grill. But Kroger Tenderay beef is scarce now. So here's something else that will give your family a taste thrill. It's Kroger's sausage. Yes, indeed. We have a wonderful variety to choose from. Frankfurters, wieners, meatloaf, and cold cuts. Each one a new experience in tastiness. And economical, too. For there's absolutely no waste in Kroger's sausages. So, how about planning a picnic-style supper for your family real soon? Give Dad and the children a surprise dinner centered around Kroger's sausage. Remember, genuine Kroger sausage is exclusive with us, and you can only buy it at your Kroger store.
count down for blastoff. X minus 5, minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years on 1,000 would-be worlds. The National Broadcasting Company presents X minus 1. Tonight's story, The Man in the Moon.
Attention, attention. This is the Federal Bureau of Missing Persons calling all local agencies. Attention, this is a coded report nationwide. Missing since 9 o'clock this morning the following persons: Smigley, Jonathan, 5 feet 8 inches tall, brown hair, brown eyes, mastoid scar behind right ear, last seen wearing blue top coat and tan cap, wanted by Los Angeles... Hello, get off this wavelength. This is a restricted band.
Hello, Earth.
Whoever you are, you're on a coded wavelength. Tune out. This frequency is reserved for the Federal Bureau of Missing Persons.
Hello, Earth. This is the moon calling Earth. Hello, Earth.
This guy's loony.
This is Jake in transmission.
Jake, this is Charlie of the code room. Some crackpot is on our frequency.
Yeah, I heard him, Charlie. I've got CQ trying to trace a source now. We should have a triangulation any second.
Oh, hurry it up, will you? Some ham is in for a good stiff fine by the FCC.
Yeah, they ought to take his license away. Oh, here comes Lenny with the directional fix.
Right.
Thanks, Lenny. Hey, what's this? This is impossible.
What's going on down there? How about it? Get that ham out of my kilocycles.
Now, listen, Charlie, unless this is a gag, that interference is being beamed from 240,000 miles away.
Oh, now, Jake, you know there ain't no such thing as 240,000 miles away.
Yes, there is, Charlie, straight up.
Oh, now, wait a minute.
Charlie, that signal is coming from the moon.
Are you nuts?
Well, somebody might be bouncing it like a radar signal.
Radar on this frequency? Where'd you study basic radio?
Now, listen, Flathead, you asked for a fix. I gave the best fix our instruments can find. Take it or leave it. Somebody on the moon is calling the Bureau of Missing Persons.
Lincoln. What's the sweat, Charlie? Shouldn't you be broadcasting?
Listen, Mr. Timpkin. You know I'm a sober citizen, right?
Hmm?
Never once have I broadcast with the smell of alcohol on my breath, right?
Right.
In all your 12 years here at the Bureau, did I once
What's
ever...
the matter, Charlie?
We're picking up a message on our wavelength.
Did you report to the FCC?
I ain't got the nerve.
Well, what's wrong?
You'll scream when you hear this, Mr. Timpkin. You'll jump right out the window, but... We are getting an SOS from the moon. Well, that's it. He started on voice and switched to Morse. The way the signal repeats sounds like a phonograph record or automatic sender of some sort.
Well, what's it say?
Let's see here. Can you read me? Help. Otterburn. Will contact when moon is in phase.
Let's have that again.
Can you read me? Help. Otterburn. Will contact when moon is in phase.
Otterburn.
That sounds like a name, huh?
Otterburn. Wait a minute.
Something registered?
Cornelius Otterburn. Holy Jehoshaphat.
Hey, where are you going?
Talk to the chief.
Hey, wait a minute. What are you going to tell him? We just got a CQ from the man in the moon?
That's exactly what I am going to tell him, Charlie.
Oh, this is just too much for me.
Washington Star Ledger.
Let me have O'Brien on city desk.
A moment. O'Brien?
Seamus.
Yeah?
Charlie Starbuck down at the Missing Persons Bureau. You want a hot one? No kidding. This'll cost you a beer, okay?
All right, shoot, Noodle Brain. I'll stay on your wavelength for 30 seconds.
Okay. We just got a radio message from the moon.
Yep. What?
From the moon.
Call me back when you're sober.
Okay, Seamus. If you don't know a story when you see one,
I'll send you the name of a good psychiatrist. So long, Orson Welles.
How do you like that? You don't believe me.
Otterburn, Mr. Wade. Now, does that name ring a bell?
You're the man with the photographic memory, Henry. What about Otterburn?
Cornelius Otterburn, atomic physicist, reported missing from his home in Baltimore on June 5th, 1945, just 5 years ago. Vanished completely.
Are you trying to tell me you really think there's something to this man-on-the-moon business? Henry, I'm surprised at you. This is some crackpot trying to jam the airwaves.
Yes, but the name Otterburn is so unusual.
So are a lot of names.
Well, I have a theory that...
I was afraid of that. Henry, you always have a theory. Let's see, what was it last year? Oh, yes. Let people disappear, an occupational psych.
But it's true.
Please, Henry, I'm a busy man. You expect me to believe that this Otterburn is sitting up on the moon, sending out shortwave messages?
Well, he might be on Earth bouncing the messages off the moon. But who's to say he isn't on the moon?
Henry, as chief of this bureau, I have my hands full trying to coordinate reports from 48 states and Alaska. I have no time to include the moon.
But, Mr. Wade...
Out, Henry.
But, Mr. Wade...
Out, I'm busy.
Yes.
Oh, here. Take this folder of reports for the dead file.
Yes.
And no more nonsense, eh, Henry?
Yes.
I appreciate that you have a very dull job filing old missing persons reports, and I appreciate that you take an active interest in the affairs of the Bureau. But no more nonsense, huh?
No, sir. No more nonsense.
Pardon me.
Hmm?
You are Mr. Henry Timken.
That's my name.
Permit me, Jefferson Philo, scientific feature writer.
Oh, how do you do? Oh, are you a newspaper man?
Not exactly. I write as a hobby. Occasionally the papers give me leads on an assignment. If I may have a moment of your time.
Oh, well, certainly. Just sit down at my desk over here.
Thank you. My, that's quite a stack of papers.
Filing. I'm the records custodian of the Bureau. 12 years and never misplaced a record.
Magnificent. I admire the precise mind, Mr.
Timken.
Of course. Now, Mr. Timken, Mr. O'Brien, the editor of the Star Ledger, said I might drop by and investigate a rumor. Only a rumor, mind you, that a message from the, moon?
Well, we aren't certain it's from the moon. It may be a bounce. They have bounced radar waves off the moon, you know.
Yes, I know. I wrote the first newspaper article on it.
Really? I'd be interested to read it.
I must have a copy in my briefcase.
Well, don't bother.
Oh, but I insist. Oh, yes. There you are. I'll leave it on your desk.
Oh, thank you very much.
Now, about this message from the moon, Mr. Timken.
Well, now, we don't know for sure, as I said. But I believe that this message, wherever it originates, is from Cornelius Otterburn.
The physicist?
Oh, do you know him?
I once wrote an article on his contributions in nuclear mechanics. A brilliant man, Otterburn. Years ahead of his contemporaries.
Well, whoever is sending those signals, if he isn't on the moon, is at least using the moon as a sounding board, bouncing the signal.
But why, Mr. Timken? Why?
Well, if you will come here tomorrow night at 8, Mr. Philo, we may learn the answer to that question. I've arranged with Charlie, our radio man, to let me use the equipment.
May I consider this an invitation?
You certainly may.
Very well, sir. Until tomorrow night, then.
Goodbye, Mr. Philo. Let's see now. Aiken, Abelard, Abramson, Rono, Atch. Well, that's funny. Now, where did this list of names come from? Paul Aarons, astromathematician. Robert Simons, electronic engineer. Carl Parker, mining specialist. Well, this must have gotten mixed up with the papers on my desk by accident. Peculiar list of names. Oh, good morning, Charlie.
Oh, hi, Mr. Timken. See, we made the papers.
Oh?
And how? And as the chief steamed up about it, he really gave me what for.
What did the paper say?
Oh, mostly ha-ha. Here's the Herald. Listen. Man on the moon contacts Missing Persons Bureau. Missing atomic scientists sitting on the moon, say Bureau experts, etc., etc. What a panning.
Well, no wonder Mr. Wade is hopping.
Say, about tonight, Mr. Timken, I don't
know. Now, you promised you'd give me a key to the radio room.
Yeah, but I didn't expect it.
I'll take full responsibility with Mr. Wade.
It's the time for the morning broadcast. We got quite a list today.
Well, mind if I listen a while? We may hear Otterburn.
Why, ain't self-conscious. Just stick around.
Yes.
Attention. Attention. This is the Federal Missing Persons Bureau calling all local agencies. Nationwide. This is a coded broadcast. The following persons are missing. Aarons, Dr. Paul, 5 feet 5, brown hair, brown eyes, scar on left side of chin, thick glasses.
Aarons.
Occupation, astromathematician. Missing since 6 o'clock this morning. Being sought by Bel Air Police.
Charlie.
Repeat. Dr. Paul
Charlie,
Aarons.
hold it off a second.
Hold it. Delay 1 minute. Listen, Mr. Timken, it's okay to stay, but you can't interrupt
Now,
us.
this is important. Did you say Dr. Aarons was reported missing this morning?
6 a.m. We got the report from Bel Air less than an hour ago.
Are you certain, Charlie?
Positive. What is this?
Charlie, what's the next name on the list?
Let's see. Simons, Robert, engineer.
What?
Came in less than 20 minutes ago.
20?
Hey, what's the matter with you? You look like you've seen a ghost.
It's nothing, Charlie, except that last night, quite by accident, someone left a list of names on my desk. And that list included the names of those 2 men who were reported missing within the last hour.
What? Oh, that don't sound right to me.
Well, it isn't right, Charlie. It leaves a big question to be answered. Who would make up a list of missing persons before they were missing, not after?
And you say this list of names was left on your desk accidentally?
Well, I believe so, Mr. Wade.
Do you have any ideas, Henry?
Well, it's hard to say. Mr. Philo left some papers from his briefcase.
Mr. Philo?
A science feature writer.
I see. You were the leak on that story, then?
Yes, sir, I'm afraid I was. I didn't think it would be treated as a laughing matter.
Well, we'll deal with that later.
Yes, sir.
What's this Philo like?
Well, he's a strange old duck, bald, thick glasses, tall. He walks stooped over. Seems to know a great deal about scientific data, but, of course, being a science writer...
Is there any other possibility?
I believe that this is all hooked up with the broadcast from Otterburn.
That seems to be a very remote possibility.
The Missing Persons Bureau deals in remote possibilities, Mr. Wade.
I do not require a statement of policy.
Yes, sir.
What's the theory?
For some time now, it has been my contention that in a country like ours, where even the cleverest criminal can be ferreted out and located eventually, there is no such thing as a missing person.
I was afraid of that.
For 12 years now, I have kept the central files, where information from all over the country is channeled and recorded. I have made a private study.
This is beginning to sound familiar, Henry.
And I have discovered that each year, literally thousands of persons vanish, leaving no trace. They are never located. Where do they go? Nobody knows. And they disappear in interesting cycles.
What sort of cycles?
Occupations, for example. One year we'll have a run on, well, say, coal miners. Next year, the proportion of engineers increases. And then scientists. And
what do you think happens, Henry?
I don't know, Mr. Wade, but I'm beginning to suspect that somebody else has discovered the same phenomenon, even to the point, perhaps, of being able to predict who will turn up among the missing next.
Philo?
Well, I don't know. But I would like to find out.
And you think Otterburn may be a part of this picture?
Mr. Wade, I definitely do.
Henry, do you honestly expect me to buy an idea like that?
It is more than an idea. The 2 top men on this list are missing, and...
Maybe so, but the rest of them aren't. Parker, Watson, Gibbs. Why, I saw Parker in the restaurant where I had lunch today.
Yes, but...
And if you think I'm going to make myself a laughingstock by accepting such a crack-brained theory...
Well,
Excuse me.
Yes.
Hello, Wade speaking. Yes? Yes? I see. What name? Just a moment. Henry, let me see that list again.
Here you are, sir.
Go ahead. I see. I'll get back to you. I guess I owe you an apology, Henry.
Sir?
Harold Parker was just reported missing.
Parker?
3rd man on your list.
Holy mackerel.
Exactly. Henry, for a good many years now, I've ridiculed these theories of yours. I don't know. Perhaps I've underestimated you. Maybe this time you've really stumbled onto something.
What do you intend to do, Mr. Wade?
I don't know. I haven't thought it out yet.
I was planning to listen for another broadcast tonight in the hope that Otterburn might try to contact us again.
Good idea. I believe I'll join you.
I also invited Mr. Philo, the feature writer.
Oh? I'll be glad to meet him. I'm beginning to get interested in you, Mr. Philo.
Mr. Wade, you don't think...
That he's mixed up in this?
Yes.
I don't know, Henry. But it suddenly strikes me that we don't know very much about him, really.
We ought to contact the police.
No, Henry. I think we're better off keeping this between ourselves for the moment. We're dealing with the unknown. And in solving an equation for the X factor, it's often easier to limit the number of terms. You follow me?
I don't know, Mr. Wade.
There may be more danger in what you have discovered than you are aware of. Let's keep it quiet. You agree?
Maybe you're right, Mr. Wade. I haven't thought of the danger involved.
when Mr. Filer was late.
Well, he said he'd be here. He strikes me as a man who keeps appointments.
Look out the window.
Yes.
The moon is almost in direct phase. We can't wait much longer.
Well, it's a perfectly clear night for transmission. If anybody's sending, we ought to pick it up with this equipment.
You'd better switch on the set.
Yes. I never realized how eerie this office could be when it was empty.
I'll have to light in the hall for Mr. Filer when he comes. Are you getting anything?
Just some foreign stuff, I think.
And this concludes the British portion of tonight's programming from Johannesburg, South Africa. We continue in April.
That's a peculiar transmission sound.
Earth.
Now, that sounds like something. See if I can work the selector.
The moon is in phase.
Yes.
Hello, Earth. Can you hear me?
I'll try to return. Hello? Hello?
Hello, Earth.
Hello, do you hear me?
Oh, I get you now. Thank God.
Who are you? Can you hear me? Who are you?
This is Professor Cornelius Otterburn. Hello?
Go on, I hear you.
Not much time. They're on to me. They've located my sending point. You hear me?
Go ahead, keep talking.
I've only enough oxygen for a few minutes more.
Well, where are you?
I'm on the Earth side of the moon. You get that? The Earth side of the moon. A volcanic crater.
Good. Start that recorder, Mr. Wade. Go on. Explain, please. Explain, please.
Now listen closely. There is an Earth colony on the moon. There is an Earth colony on the far side of the moon, made up of renegade scientists and criminals. Professor Ernst Halsman...
He died in an insane asylum in 1938.
Professor Ernst Halsman discovered nuclear rocket power in 1935. Turned his plans over to escaped inmates of the asylum. They took off and set up a colony on the far side of the moon in 1938.
Go ahead, we're recording you.
Each year, they recruit new colonists from Earth. Slave labor, mostly. I was kidnapped in 1945.
Yes, I know. Keep talking.
They wanted me to work on atomic drive for their flying disc.
Still getting you. Go on.
Last month, 6 others and I escaped.
Speak louder.
You got to stop them. Stop them.
Stop who?
The moon colony. Planning to take over the Earth. Invasion. Oh.
Hang on.
No oxygen. Hard to breathe. Hey, listen. They have agents on Earth. You hear me?
Agents on Earth? Where? Who? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Agents in...
Henry, look out. Someone at the window. Get down.
Henry, are you all right?
I think so. His shot smashed the transmitter.
And the lights. Strike a match.
Careful.
It was close.
I got a look at him. From the description, it was your Mr. Philo.
We got a recording anyway, but not the most important part of the message. Poor Otterburn, suffocating to death.
Henry, we've got to get you out of here. He said they have agents. Philo was probably one of them. He'll be looking for you now, trying to kill you.
The police...
You think the police would believe a fantastic story like this? People being kidnapped to the moon as slave labor? Moon colony planning an invasion of the Earth? But Henry, believe me, they'd trap us into straitjackets before we could finish.
We've got to do something.
We need time. Time to get close.
You don't think my theory was bunk then?
I know it wasn't, Henry. Right now, my only concern is for your safety.
But we can't walk out of here. Philo's probably waiting.
Listen. There's a service elevator that leads to the basement garage.
Yeah?
We can get down there. There are some delivery trucks parked there all night. We can probably get one started. The garage door's off the ramp, work from the inside. We'll start the mechanism and make a run for it.
I don't know. I think if we call the police...
By the time the police get here, we'll be dead. You think Philo will wait outside all night? Come on. That's an order.
Okay. But what about the recording of Otterburn's notes?
We'll leave that here in the safe in my office. They'll never get into that. Let's go. You buzz the elevator while I hide the recording. This is the basement. Come on. Keep to the side.
Yes, sir.
Shh. Let's try that delivery truck over there. I'll get in. All right, Henry. You start the mechanism to open the garage door, then jump onto the truck.
Yes, sir.
We'll make a dash for it.
Where can we go?
I have a farm outside Chevy Chase. It's private. Miles from the nearest neighbor and completely hidden by trees. We'll run for that. Go ahead. Start the door up.
All right.
Quick, jump in. There we go, Henry. Cross your fingers. We made it out all right. Anything doing?
There's a blue coupe behind us, Mr. Wade. It seems to be following.
I'll cut up Pennsylvania Avenue. Now Route 1, toward Baltimore.
It is following. He turned with us. Can you go faster?
Not much faster.
Well, he's gaining on us.
I've got an idea. Hang on, Henry.
Yes. Why'd you stop?
I'll turn off the lights. It worked. He shot right past us. Now we'll double back and go out another route.
Well, I don't see anything. I think we've lost him.
Good. I think everything's going to be all right now. We can be at my farm in less than an hour. Not much longer now. Is anyone behind us?
I thought I saw the blue coupe again, but I was mistaken. Whew. This place is really out in the wilderness.
We can stay here indefinitely till we'll figure out the next move. Now, just up this third road now. There's the house up ahead.
You're not going toward it.
No, I have a better idea. There's a big abandoned wheat silo on my grounds. It's down the hollow where it can't be seen except in the air. And even then, the oak trees shield it. We'll hide you out there. Now, we leave the truck here. It'll never be seen. Come on.
Yes. How did you ever find this place, Mr. Wade?
I've always liked seclusion. I bought it about 12 years ago. Come up here in the summertime to get away from it all. There's the silo.
It's certainly well hidden.
There's a small door around the side. Come on. Be careful of those bushes.
Yes.
It's hard to see them in the back.
Do you suppose Philo will find us?
I assure you, Henry, Mr. Fowler will never find us here. Not in a million years. Here's the door.
It's pitch dark.
Hold my arm. I know the way. Just a few steps up. And another door.
Steel. This is an unusual silo. Double-walled, wood outside and steel inside.
Completely fireproof. An army couldn't wreck it. We're inside the inner shell. Careful. We're in a circular room. Stay here a moment. I'll go outside and see if the coast is clear. In a moment, your eyes will become accustomed to the darkness. I'll bring back some food and water.
Don't be long, Mr. Wade. This place gives me the willies.
Just a moment.
Mr. Wade. I swear I hear something. Mr. Wade. What's that? There is something. Good Lord. There's someone in here. It's locked. Oh, no. Mr. Wade. Mr. Wade, let me out. I'm not alone in here. Mr. Wade. This must be a light switch. Thank God. Oh, no. People. 10, 15, 20. Mr. Wade, help! Help!
It'll do you no good to shout, Henry.
Mr. Wade, where are you?
Outside. Speaking over the intercom.
Mr. Wade, there are people in here. 15 or 20 of them. They're sitting like statues, just staring at me.
They won't hurt you, Henry.
What?
They've all been drugged. They're even more helpless than you.
But who are they?
Permit me to introduce them, Henry, since they're currently unable to introduce themselves. The gentleman seated before you, the one with the scar, is Dr. Paul Ahrens, the astromathematician. Next to him is Mr. Robert Simons, electronic engineer.
Names on the list.
Yes, you're familiar with the rest. They've all been, shall we say, recruited for work with Professor Halsman's group on the moon.
Moon? Then you all you're one of them.
Of course. Oh, yes. There's one whose name was not on our list. If you'll turn around, Henry, you'll recognize the drugged form of your old friend, Mr. Philo.
Philo? But I thought...
That he was part of the conspiracy? No. On the contrary. His snooping made it necessary for us to include him.
Yes, but the man in the window, the one who fired the shot.
An agent of mine. The pilot of this ship.
Ship? What ship?
This silo is camouflaged for a rocket launching platform. In a moment, the roof will slide back for the rocket's takeoff.
A rocket ship?
In exactly 70 hours, you and your companions will join Professor Otterburn on the moon.
But you can't do this to me.
We have done it, Henry.
No.
You see, there was another name omitted in that list, which I carelessly mixed up with your papers. That of Henry Timpkin.
No.
Bon voyage.
I won't let you do this. You can't. Please, let me out. Let me out, please. This can't happen. Let me out. Let me out.
Attention. Missing since 8 o'clock last night, the following persons. Timpkin Henry, age 45, height 5 feet 8, 165 pounds, brown eyes, slightly balding, occupation records custodian. Repeat, Timpkin Henry, age 45, height 5 feet 8, 165 pounds.
In just a moment, a word about next week's adventure. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you The Man in the Moon, an original radio drama written by George Lefferts. Featured in the cast were Louis Van Ruten as Henry, Santos Ortega as the Chief, Ross Martin as Charlie, Sidney Smith as Otterburn, Bob Haig as Jake, Joe DeSantis as Philo, and Ed Latimer as O'Brien. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Fred Way and is an NBC Radio Network production. And now, next week, the sign on the window said Perigis Wonderful Dolls. A woman and a child waited outside. The little girl peering eagerly through the window, and the woman glancing impatiently at her wristwatch, as if expecting someone who was late for an appointment. And there was nothing about Perigis doll shop to warn them that they were waiting to keep an appointment with Doom at X-1. Countdown for blastoff. X-5, -4, -3, -2, X-1, fire! From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future. Adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company presents X-1. Tonight, X-1 presents Perigis Wonderful Dolls by George Lefferts. The doll shop stood on a quiet Washington side street, not too far from the sprawling Pentagon building. A woman and child waited outside, the little girl peering eagerly through the window at the dolls inside, and the woman glancing impatiently at her wristwatch, as if expecting someone who was late for an appointment. There was nothing about the doll shop to warn them that they were waiting to keep an appointment with doom.
Mommy, look.
What, dear?
In the window of the shop, the tiny dolls. Oh, Mommy, do you think Daddy will buy me one?
We'll ask him when he comes, dear. Should be here soon. He said 3 o'clock on this corner.
I see him, Mommy. See?
Oh, Henry, over here.
Hello, dear. I'm sorry I'm late.
Well, we're all ready to go shopping. Cindy's been...
Yes, well, I'm afraid we'll have to call off the shopping, Elma.
Oh, Henry, we promised Cindy.
Well, I'm sorry, but it's just one of those things. You've been the wife of an army colonel long enough to know his life isn't his own.
What is it this time?
Some more of that flying sphere nonsense. The pilot who says he sighted it last month crashed and was killed today, and the general wants a full report.
Oh, dear. What next?
Well, I got a staff meeting at the Pentagon at 3:15.
Daddy, look in this window.
Well, I haven't time, dear. Alma,
Just for a minute, Daddy,
Yeah,
please.
Now, Cindy, I haven't time to stop and watch a bunch of 6-inch dolls parading around in the shop window. Say, they are lifelike, aren't they? Look at that, Alma. Dolls are marching around like a regular review. They've even got their own little band.
See the one in the red jacket, Daddy?
Yeah.
He's the leader. He's bowing to us.
Well, if they don't look human.
Henry, your staff meeting.
Oh, yes. Well, I got to run.
Can we buy one, Daddy?
Well, not now, dear, and I'll run along. Now, don't go spending a lot of money on that nonsense.
No,
Alma.
dear.
Bye. Bye, Cindy.
Bye, Daddy. Oh, look, Mommy, the band is going to play.
Aren't they wonderful, honey? Honey, I must have stood on this corner 1,000 times. I've never noticed the shop before.
Look at the man inside, Mommy. Who's he?
That's the proprietor, dear.
Doesn't he look funny with those red cheeks and white mustache?
It's easy to see who he models his dolls after.
Mommy, look. He's coming to the door. He's coming.
Good evening, children.
Good evening.
How funny he talks.
Hush, Cindy.
Would you like to step inside the shop of Santo Perigi?
Well, yes, we would. But...
This way.
Mommy, it's like fairyland.
Here in the shop of Santo Perigi, creator of Perigi's universal wonderful dolls, the world of adult reality is blended with the world of child's fantasy.
This is a new shop, isn't it, Mr. Perigi?
What is new and what is old? Come, this way. Would you like to meet one of my little ones?
Oh, yes.
Now, this one in the red jacket is Toto. He is the leader. Handle him ever so gently. See, I will set him on the table. Speak, little one.
How do you do? How do you do? How do you do? Oh, Mommy, he talks. The doll talks.
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
That is nothing for Perigi's wonderful dolls. Listen. Sing. Sing, Toto. Sing for the little girl.
My name is Toto.
Sing, Toto.
Men are big and tall. Dolls are very small. When men begin to fall, the dolls will rule them all. More.
How do they work, Mr. Perigi?
How do they work? Ah, that is the secret of the great Perigi, greatest of all doll makers. To make an ordinary doll is nothing. To make a perfect replica, that is something. But to make a doll with intelligence, that is the work of an artist, eh?
I suppose that they're very expensive to buy.
But Perigi does not sell his dolls, madam.
You don't sell them?
When I construct a doll like Toto, I cannot bear to be permanently separated from him. So instead of selling, I rent my little people.
You do? You rent dolls?
Precisely. $10.
For how long?
For as long as they are cherished. My only request is that when you grow tired of my dolls, you return them to me in good condition.
Oh, Mommy, could we take him home? Take him home. Take him home. Take him home. Oh, look, he's bowing and dancing. He wants to
Well,
come.
honey, your father said that we shouldn't spend a lot
Oh,
of money.
please, I'll take such good care of it. Please.
Well, honey, we'll have to deal with your father later, but... Well...
Oh, Mommy.
All right. Wrap him up, Mr. Perigi. But I have a feeling that when your father comes home, we'll be sorry.
Be sorry. Be sorry. Be sorry. Be sorry.
Now, Toto, this is my room, and you're going to sleep right here next to my pillow. I wish you wouldn't laugh like that. I'm going to have to teach you some manners. And you be quiet because my daddy will be home soon. And he's a colonel in the Air Force staff, and he'll bust you to private if you don't behave. Come along now. I'm going to introduce you to my puppy dog, Mr. Blister, so be good. Here, Mr. Blister. Here, Blister. Come on. Mr. Blister, this is Toto. Dear, I don't think Mr. Blister likes you, Toto. Come over here and shake hands with Toto, Mr. Blister. Come on now. Mr. Blister! Let him go! Let him go! Let him go! Get him!
Cindy! Mr. Blister, come over here. Come over here. Cindy, what happened?
Mr. Blister tried to bite my doll. How frightened he is.
Oh, honey, dolls don't get frightened.
But he was frightened, Mama. He screamed.
You imagined it, dear. It's only a doll.
He did.
Well, Mr. Blister didn't mean it. Now, you know he's the gentlest little pup alive.
He is, and he's nasty, and I hate him.
Oh, now, see, you've hurt his feelings.
I don't care. He tried to bite my new doll, and I don't ever want to see him again, ever.
Oh, dear. All right, Mr. Blister. You come downstairs with me. Cindy's angry with me tonight.
I'll kill him.
Cindy, where did you learn a thing like that?
Toto said it.
Honey, you've had a very exciting day. Now, brush your teeth now and go to bed. Daddy's coming home late, so he'll see you in the morning. Good night, dear. Sleep well.
I hate him.
Hate him, hate him, hate him, hate him.
Morning, Alma. Breakfast ready?
In a minute, dear. How was the staff meeting last night?
Horrible bore as usual. I don't know what's got into the old man. Just because a few farmers corroborated the pilot's report, he thinks some strange aircraft has penetrated our radar zone. Well, where's the little one?
Up in her room.
Now, that's funny. She's usually down here before me.
Well, she's probably up to something. Sit down, dear.
Say, remind me to take some papers back to the War Department, will you? I left them in my strong box.
You haven't been bringing your reports home, have you?
Well, it's safe enough.
Well, you told me it was against regulations to bring secret papers home.
Well, I had to finish some work for the old man, and nobody will ever know the difference.
Well, I don't know. Oh, would you feed the puppy before we sit down, Henry?
Yes.
His bowl's under the sink.
Where is he? Say, that's funny. Here's his supper from last night, only half eaten.
He's getting fussy. Doesn't like canned dog food anymore.
Here, Blister. Here, Blister, Blister, Blister. I wonder where the dickens is that mutt?
Maybe he's on the back porch.
Here, Blister. Hey. Alma.
What is it, dear?
Alma, look.
Henry, is he...
He's dead.
But how?
From the looks of it, he might have been poisoned.
But who would do a thing like that to an innocent little puppy?
I don't know. Let me see his dish. Look at that. I don't understand this at all. Not at all.
What, dear? What is it?
There are pieces of broken glass in this food. Blue glass, you see?
How? Henry.
What?
I just remembered something.
What?
It may be coincidence, but in the bathroom this morning...
Well, what about the bathroom?
Oh, Cindy's blue glass, the one with the Mickey Mouse on it, was broken. I found pieces in the wastebasket. I meant to ask her about it.
Alma, for heaven's sake, you aren't suggesting that our little girl... Well, she loved Blister more than anyone.
Not last night, she didn't.
Why not?
He went after Toto.
Now, who is Toto?
That's her new doll.
Her what?
Honey, I was meaning to tell you.
Well, you bought her one of those dolls.
I just rented it.
Well, rented it. Now, look here, Alma. You know we haven't got the kind of money to throw away.
Well, she had her heart set on it, dear. I used my dividend.
All right. But what happened with Blister?
Well, he went for the doll, and Cindy said she hated him.
Oh, well, a child...
She said she'd kill him.
Where'd she get a thought like that?
I don't know.
Has she been watching those chillers on television?
I don't know.
Well, it's too ridiculous. Good heavens, a 9-year-old child putting ground glass in dog food. She'd have to be a monster.
Mommy!
She's coming.
Well, don't say anything. I'll talk to her.
Morning, dear.
Morning, Mommy. Morning, Daddy. What's the matter?
Sit down, dear.
Yes, sir.
Now, Your mother tells me you broke your blue drinking glass.
Oh, no, I didn't break it.
Cindy.
I didn't.
Well, now, somebody broke it. It wasn't your mother, and it wasn't me.
It must have been Toto.
Cynthia.
Cindy, you know Toto is only a doll. Now, a doll couldn't have broken your glass, could he? Well?
I guess not.
So we can't very well blame it on a doll, then, can we?
But he must have done it, Daddy.
Cindy, you know how Daddy feels about little girls who tell fibs. Now, did you break your glass and maybe accidentally get some pieces into Mr. Blister's dish to sort of punish him for biting your doll?
No, Daddy.
Well, I'd hate to think you'd done something you knew was wrong and you were blaming it on a doll.
Is something wrong with Mr. Blister? Is he sick?
Worse than that.
Henry.
The child has to face reality, Alma.
What's the matter with Mr. Blister?
He's dead, Cindy.
Oh, no. We can't be dead. He isn't dead, Daddy. No, he isn't. He isn't. Mommy.
Honey, he is dead, Cindy.
But he'll come back. He has to come back.
No, darling, he won't come back.
Ever?
Not ever.
Yes. Well, now that we've told you, Cindy, you want to change your mind about the glass?
Henry, leave her alone, please.
You think I killed him?
Now look what you've done. The child feels guilty enough,
My
Henry.
dear, this is no time for feelings to interfere.
You go up to her room, honey. Daddy and I'll be up in a minute.
I don't want to.
Please, Cindy. Now, we'll be right up, please. There. That's a good girl. Close the kitchen door behind you.
Mr. Blister's dead. He isn't coming back. Ever. Ever. Daddy thinks it was me, but it was you. It was you.
Eat your supper, dear.
I'm not hungry.
You scarcely touched your lunch.
I don't feel like eating.
Is it Mr. Blister?
Now, answer your mother.
She'll work it out her own way, Henry.
Well, I don't know, Elma. When I was a boy, there was such a thing as discipline. Now, the way this child is being brought up...
Henry!
Well, it's true. There's no respect, lying, and...
Oh, there, honey. Now, your father's upset. He doesn't mean
Well,
it.
what's happened to us? We were a nice, peaceful, happy family until you bought that cursed doll.
Now who's blaming things on the doll?
Well, it's true. Oh, now I've spilled my coffee.
I'll get you another cup.
Never mind. I'm late now. I better be going.
Oh, you wanted to get some papers from the strongbox.
Oh, yes.
Cindy, please, try to eat something.
Yes, ma'am.
Alma! Alma!
What is it?
Alma! It's gone.
What's gone?
The strong box is gone.
It can't be. The door to your study's always locked. You and I have the only key.
I know all that, and I tell you it isn't there.
Well, who would go?
I don't know. Alma, those confidential reports, if they ever got into the wrong
I
hands...
warned you about keeping them there.
What if it ever came out in the open? Can't you see the papers?
Call the police, Henry.
And throw my Army career in a wastebasket after 17 years? No. We've got to find it ourselves.
Well, it was there when I went in to clean this morning.
What about your key?
It's right here. I always keep it with me. Honey.
Oh, no.
My other keys are on the ring.
Oh, you've lost it.
I don't see how.
Alma, how could you do
Oh,
it?
Henry, please.
We'll search the house. I can't think of anything else to do.
Well, you'll miss the staff meeting.
Meeting? My whole career goes up in smoke if we don't find those reports. Somebody got hold of your key and opened that room and... I know. Cindy.
You leave the child alone. She's been through enough. You know she wouldn't do a thing like that.
I don't know anything anymore. I don't even know my own child. I don't even know you. All I know is that strongbox is gone and it contains papers that are dynamite if the wrong person gets them. The question being who? What's that?
Coming from upstairs, it must be Cindy's doll.
Oh, that blasted doll again.
Something must have set it off. I don't know how the mechanism works.
For heaven's sakes, let's go up and shut it off. Stop it! Blasted little imp.
Henry.
Ever since you...
Henry.
What?
Look.
Where? What?
Around the doll's neck, the key. The key to your study.
see, Alma. It was Cindy after all.
I don't believe it.
Good heavens, do you have to have it spelled out for you? Here's her doll with a key around its neck.
She wouldn't, Henry. You know she wouldn't.
Oh, ever since you got this fool doll, she's been acting half insane. At first the dog, and now this. I think she hates herself.
Henry, Cindy is my child. I know her. I know she's a good, sensitive person with no malice in her.
You're simply refusing to face the facts, my dear.
What are you going to do?
I'm going downstairs and have a talk with that young lady. You're not telling the truth, Cindy.
I am.
Cindy, now you know that strong box is very important to me. Now, I can understand that you might have been angry at me because I scolded you, and so you took it and hid it, just to spite me. Now, all I ask is for you to tell me the truth. Now, where is it?
I didn't take it, Daddy. Honest, I didn't take it.
Yeah. I suppose you're going to tell me now that a little 6-inch doll took it and hid it. Well, I'm speaking to you, young lady.
But I didn't take it, Daddy. You don't understand. Toto did it. He's terrible, awful. He says things. He's going to kill everybody.
Cindy, you're inventing things.
It's true. At night when I'm sleeping, he stands next to my pillow and whispers things to me. Awful things. He told me he'd kill me, too, if I scolded.
Alma,
If I told you.
I think this child is sick. I think she needs a doctor.
She's frightened, Henry. She's trembling like a leaf. Come on, dear. We'll go up to your room.
I don't want to go up there.
Honey, Mommy will stay with you.
I'm afraid he's up there.
Who?
Toto.
Well, he won't be up there for long. Mr. Toto is going right back to Perigis' wonderful doll shop before I lose my sanity, which means right now.
Welcome to the home of Perigis' wonderful doll.
Are you Perigi?
Santor Perigi, creator of the universal doll, the doll with a mind, the doll which...
I'm returning one of your masterpieces.
Oh? If you will step into the rear of my shop. Now the complaint?
No complaint. Here's your doll. Good riddance.
My little Toto. Rejected. You found the world of men too filled with hate.
Hate, 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 hate.
We will change all that later on. Return to your comrades in the window, little one. And now, Colonel Grayson.
I think we have no further business.
But we do, Colonel. Let me see. Yes, here it is. Do you recognize this strong box, Colonel?
My strong box? Well, where?
My little Toto is very clever, sir.
Are you trying to tell me your doll stole that from me?
Let us not say stole. I am merely keeping it in custody.
What's the game, Perigi?
The game, as you call it, is blackmail. You give me what I want, and I do not ruin your career.
What do you want?
Information. We already know something from the reports of the War Department concerning a certain strange-looking sphere reported by one of your pilots.
What government do you represent?
I represent Perigis' wonderful dolls, none other.
I am not so naive, sir.
Perhaps I should explain. Each man hides something from the world. Each man loves something more than life. With the help of my wonderful dolls, I obtain personal information which enables me to control the men who control the world.
You're a madman.
A genius. You would be surprised at the list of men who have become the confidants for my dolls.
Do you think you can blackmail me into betraying my country?
If the price is right. And in this case, sir, the price is your career and the lives of your wife and child.
Why are you so interested in the flying spirit?
Let us say for reasons of my own. Well, Colonel?
Hand over the strongbox.
I warn you, I have a gun.
Give it to me.
You are being foolish. Put down that walking stick.
Now.
No closer.
Now. Hello? Give me the police. Hello? Yes, this is Colonel Henry Grayson. I've just killed a man. Yes, Perigis doll shop, corner of 4th and Lexington. The body is in the back room. Yes, I'll wait for you. Shut up. Shut up, you little fiend.
Colonel Grayson.
Did I hear it speak?
Colonel Henry Grayson.
I must be going out of my mind, a 6-inch doll. Shut up! Your master's dead.
You are mistaken, Colonel. I, Toto, am the master.
What do you mean?
If you will examine the body of Santor Perigi, you will see that he does not bleed. And he does not bleed, Colonel, because Santor Perigi never lived.
Never lived?
Santor Perigi is a doll.
A doll? But that's impossible. He's a man. He talks. He walks.
The people of Meretrix are skillful doll builders.
People of Meretrix doll, but who are you?
I am Xanthus Imperator, commander of the legions of the 3rd planetoid, Meretrix.
Legions? Planetoid?
My people and I, whom you regard as dolls, come from a tiny planet beyond the moon, so small that it cannot support our population. We landed one of our space spheres on Earth 3 months ago with the intention of colonizing. Unfortunately, one of your pilots intercepted us.
So that's why you wanted our information.
Precisely.
Are you human?
Oh, quite human. Of course, in order to deal with Earth people without suspicion, we were forced to construct Perigi, a man-sized doll.
Well, I can't believe this. I'm having hallucinations. I'm going to get out of here.
Oh, that would be impossible. We have weapons of destruction quite unknown to Earth people.
Well, I phoned the police, and they'll be here soon.
By the time they arrive, my people will have prepared something quite shocking.
Cover him, Ryan.
Okay, Sarge.
You the guy who turned in the call?
Yes.
Where's the body?
Well, it isn't exactly a body.
What do you mean?
It's a doll.
A what?
Well, you've got to let me explain. Well, this sounds fantastic, but I've stumbled onto an unbelievable plot to control the world.
Keep talking.
Now, these little dolls, they aren't really dolls. They're tiny people. There's a big doll named Santo Perigi, and he runs this shop.
Holy smokes.
He's off his trolley, Sarge.
Listen, mister, we got a call that there was a murder here. Now, if there was one, where's the body?
Behind those curtains in the back. Only it isn't really a body, you see.
What?
I hear something back there, Sarge.
All right, cover those curtains. You, there's anyone back there? Come on out. Come out or we'll come in and get you.
Something's coming. The curtain's opening.
Welcome, gentlemen. Perigi. Well, this is impossible. I smashed his skull.
You know this guy?
Yes, that's the one. That's the doll.
What's your name, mister?
Perigi. Santo Perigi, creator of the Universal Doll.
You ever see this man?
Never until just now.
What? Well, he's lying. I tell you, he's nothing but a life-size doll. The real masters are these little dolls.
Ryan, are you getting this?
He's wacko, Sarge. Nutty as a fruitcake.
Look, I'm not crazy, I tell you. I can prove it. They must have fixed up his head when I smashed it in. Touch him, you'll see.
Mr. Perigi, you know what the guy is talking about.
The man is demented, obviously.
No, look, I tell you, there's a plot to control the Earth. Listen, you've got to let me call the War Department. They'll want to know about the flying sphere.
Holy mackerel, this gets worse every minute. Ryan.
Take him to headquarters?
Save some time. Take him down to the psycho ward.
Okay, Buck Rogers.
Look,
come along nice and quiet.
Look, you've got to listen to me. Don't you see the future of mankind is at stake?
Sure. I know how it is.
Look, he's nothing but a man-sized doll. Touch him.
And the little ones are going to take over the Earth. I know. I had the DTs once. Okay, Sarge. We'll see you later.
Please.
Come along.
Please,
now.
listen to me. You've got to listen to me.
Sorry to cause all this trouble, Mr. Perigi.
Not at all, sir. Not at all.
Well, I'll be. Well, nah, that ain't the cutest little doll. Say, my little girl will be nuts for that.
So perhaps you will accept it as a gift?
Well, now.
For saving my life. That madman might have killed me. No home is really complete without one of Perigis' wonderful dolls, Sergeant. Is that right, Toto?
Yes, but I
would like in some way to show my gratitude. You will be doing me a favor if you will take the doll home to your little daughter.
Say, this ought to make her the happiest girl in the world.
Yes, Toto will come as a great surprise. A very great surprise. Won't it, Toto?
Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you Perigis' Wonderful Dolls, written by George Lefferts. Heard in the cast were Janet Alexander as Cindy, Ann Petoniak as Alma, Nelson Armstead as Henry, Joe DeSantis as Perigi, Michael O'Day as Toto, Ken Lynch as the Sergeant, and Frank Milano as Ryan. This is Fred Collins speaking. X-1 was directed by Fred Way and is an NBC Radio Network production.
Tonight's story concludes the present series of stories of the world of the future. If you'd like to hear X-1 return to the air at some later date, please drop us a postcard or letter addressed to X-1, care of the National Broadcasting Company, RCA Building, New York.
The underwater city of Euclidia is a weird and terrifying place, and it would seem almost impossible to escape from this well-guarded scientific colony 400 feet below the level of the South Pacific Ocean. It would be impossible for anyone depending on the mechanical devices protecting Euclidia, but the adventuring Gregory party escaped from the Magic Island with the help of their brave little homing pigeons. And now it appears that these same little birds may aid them again. The girl submarine commander, who has proven a friend in many instances, has informed Jerry and Joan that the homing pigeons are kept in the very laboratory where Captain Bradford will work with G-47. The great difficulty now will be how to plan the use of the pigeons without being overheard. Jerry and Joan are discussing this in their own quarters.
Are you sure it's all right for us to talk now, Joan?
We are quite safe. This small room is completely lined with Euclidean cloth.
Then you're sure that if we put this cloth around the room carefully, every time we want to talk in here, that nobody's going to hear us?
That is the situation. However, we must ascertain that the cloth is in perfect condition each time we use it.
Huh? Oh, what could happen to the cloth?
You understand, do you not, that the soundproof qualities of this Euclidean cloth are contained not in the fabric of the cloth itself, but in the liquid with which the cloth is saturated.
Oh, sure, I know that. It's just plain old cloth made of seaweed until they soak it in that secret formula of theirs.
Precisely. And that soundproofing liquid may be removed just as it is applied with another liquid.
Gee whiz, Joan. You mean that one of those Euclideans might sneak in here while we're out and spoil his cloth? Take the soundproofing out of it so we'd get caught next time we try to talk about something secret?
That is precisely my meaning, Jerry. And I think it is only logical to expect such a move to be made.
Yeah, well, I guess you're right. But now that we've got it all fixed up, let's figure out what we're going to do.
I feel there is very little we can do until the captain is given the opportunity of working in the submarine laboratory with G-47 and locating the pigeons.
Oh, then he'll have to plan a way to smuggle one of them on board a submarine or a rocket ship with him on a test run so that he can get a chance to turn a pigeon loose within range of Los Angeles.
How far will one of those little birds be able to fly and find my mother's home in Los Angeles?
Well, that's the trouble, Joan. And that's the reason the captain's got to try to turn them loose pretty close to home. He's not sure how far they can make it now.
At one time, the captain told me he thought 1,000 miles would be their limit.
Oh, that was all right then. They were just away from home a few weeks, and they were in training all the time. But now they've been locked up in a strange place for a long time, and they haven't had any practice. And Tex is afraid that a few hundred miles is all they can possibly make.
Then it will be necessary for the captain to arrange a long test run with a submarine or a rocket plane to release the pigeons within a short distance of Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's it.
And he will be closely guarded on those tests.
Well, yes. But Tex figures yes and no on that.
What do you mean, yes and no?
Well, G-47 knows that Tex is plenty smart about machinery and probably just as good a scientist as any of the rest of them. And when Tex is out with one of those ships, testing it to find out what's wrong with it, G-47 is going to give him plenty of chance to do his stuff.
Nevertheless, to carry a homing pigeon aboard with him and find the opportunity of releasing it without being observed will prove very difficult.
Oh, but it's not that hard. Tex won't care if he's observed or not once the pigeon gets away.
That is a mistake, Jerry.
What's a mistake about it?
I think we may consider that the release of the pigeon will be detected, probably at the time it is released, or surely within a very short time.
Well, what of it? If the pigeon gets away, he's away, and that's that.
No, Jerry. As you would say, that is not that.
Well, why isn't it?
In the first place, if the pigeon is released from a rocket ship, which I consider most likely, the ship could easily overtake and destroy the little bird.
Did you ever try catching a little bird going 40 miles an hour?
Naturally not. Did you?
No, but I don't have to. You're the one that thinks it can be done.
I see no reason why that should be particularly difficult. But in the event that fog or clouds allowed the pigeon to safely lose itself, it would merely become necessary for one of the scientists to send a radio message to a Euclidean agent in Los Angeles. And the pigeon would be caught as Mr. Johnson waited for its arrival.
Yeah. Gee, I never thought of that. Johnson wouldn't even be waiting for its arrival. Johnson's like everybody else by now. He thinks we were all killed when that artificial volcano eruption made it look like the island was destroyed.
Precisely. He will be expecting no communication from us, and the little bird may not find anyone ready to receive its message.
Well, just the same, Tex figures that he can get a chance to use those pigeons to do us some good, and I think so, too.
I hope you are correct.
Well, I know I am. And in the meantime, let you and I plan a few things of our own.
What do you wish me to do?
Oh, help me think.
Think about what?
About escaping from this city in the cellar.
That would only be a waste of time. Except for the captain's daring plan, we have no hope.
Sometime I get so blamed sore at you that I could give you a good spanking.
What is a spanking?
Didn't you ever have one?
No, Jerry. I have never had a spanking. Is it something I would like very much?
No, it's something you wouldn't like very much. A spanking means that I'd turn you over my knee and paddle you good.
Paddle? I have heard of paddle. That is the instrument with which a small boat is propelled through the water, is it not?
Well, I wasn't thinking of just that kind of paddle, but maybe it's a good idea at that.
Hello, children.
Oh, Mother.
Mrs. Gregory.
Oh, what's the matter? You two seem surprised to see me.
We are.
I'll say we are. How did you get in here?
How did I get in here? You mean in this room?
No, I mean in this apartment. This big place where all our rooms are.
Oh, I simply walked in.
Jerry, do you realize what that means?
Boy, I'll say I do. It means that anybody else could have walked in just as easy and heard all we were saying.
Were you discussing something you did not want overheard?
Yes, Mother. We have covered this small closet with the Euclidean cloth, as you can see, and we were discussing...
Look out, Joan. If Mrs. Gregory walked in on us, anybody else could do the same thing.
It was indeed stupid of us, Jerry. We should have realized that while this cloth was making this room soundproof, it was also making it impossible for us to hear anyone entering these chambers.
I hope you haven't given away any of Tex's ideas.
No, I guess we have, if anybody was listening.
Oh, Jerry.
I think we are safe this time, Mother. Jerry and I have been speaking but a few moments, and you would probably have seen anyone leaving who might have overheard us.
Yes, probably. But now that you have this little room fixed up so well, we'll continue using it with this added protection. When any two of us are discussing our plans, a third one must remain out in that other room on guard.
You're right, Mrs. Gregory. And I hope it isn't too late for your idea to be of any good.
I would not worry about that, Jerry. The element of time involved in our recent discussion should prove adequate protection.
Yeah, we didn't talk long either.
That is precisely what I said.
Well, then you took too long to say it.
Well, here you are.
Oh, Tex.
Sure happens quick.
What's this?
Now you can understand how startled Jerry and I were.
I do understand. And I also understand how dangerous it is to speak in the false security of this room.
Well, what's going on here?
Well, Joan and I covered the inside of this room with that Euclidean soundproof cloth, as you can see. And when we were talking in here, Mrs. Gregory popped in just like you did.
You see, Tex, Jerry and Joan feel that someone else, someone from whom our plans should be concealed, could have walked in on them just as easily as I did.
Oh, I see. That could happen. But remember that nobody would overhear very much when you had these curtains drawn as they were when I came in. I never heard a sound until I stuck my head through these drapes you put up.
Oh, boy. That's sure a relief.
Nevertheless, I feel that one of us should remain in the outer chamber whenever we are discussing anything of value.
By all means.
Yes, it might be safer. I have a little something to plan with Jerry right now.
Yes, Captain?
No, not for the moment, Joe. I'll tell you and Pat later. Now, if you two ladies will get busy doing nothing out in the central room, Jerry and I can do a little planning and safety behind these curtains.
Come, Joan. It's nearly time for lunch. We'll freshen up a bit.
Very well, Mother. Do not be long, Jerry.
Okay, Joan. We'll be there when the...
Well, Jerry's voice was certainly cut off sharply when that curtain fell over the doorway.
That cloth is perfectly soundproof. And, Mother...
Yes, dear?
I think that should render our fears groundless.
Oh, what do you mean?
Even if someone had entered and walked unheard to that door, as you and the captain did, they could not have heard what we were saying without opening the curtains as you did.
Let's hope you're right. But remember, Joan, dear, there are a great many things about this weird underwater city that we know nothing about. Perhaps there's some way G47 and the other scientists could overhear your conversation in that room.
Of course, that is possible. But I do not think it is at all likely.
Well, we can't help any by worrying about it. Come, dear, let's get ready for lunch.
But I have not heard the luncheon signal yet.
You'll hear it any minute now. And then that table will start coming up through the floor. You know, I'd like to visit the kitchens here and see how they do it.
I believe that could be easily arranged. We will ask G47's permission.
They must have a wonderful organization there. Food prepared for and served to nearly 300 people in a half an hour.
That is sufficient time, is it not?
Well, apparently it's quite enough here. But back home it wouldn't be long enough.
I am afraid, Mother, that all things back home, as you call your world, must be forgotten.
Now, Joan, that's no way to talk. Tex and Jerry are planning right now. And when those two get down to business, things usually happen.
Jerry is very clever for one so young, is he not, Mother?
Yes, he is. But most young people of that age are clever. Perhaps as clever as Jerry. Most of them never get a chance to show what they really can do. As older people insist on dictating to them, overruling them on everything, and molding them to older standards, whether they fit or not. Now, Tex isn't like that. He's always figured that anybody old enough to think and express their thoughts is old enough to have an opinion worth listening to. And when Jerry gets an idea, Tex listens.
The captain is a very fine and understanding man. You are quite fond of him, are you not, Mother?
Why, yes, Joan, well, naturally, dear, oh, Joan, dear, come on, let's get ready for lunch.
Mother, why do you always seem so nervous? And why do you wish to change the subject when I inquire as to your feelings for the captain?
Now, Joan, dear, we're too busy for that, and I... Oh, there's the luncheon signal.
Yes, and the steel slide is moving in the floor. Our luncheon table will be up in a few seconds.
Perhaps you'd better go over there and tell Tex and Jerry that lunch is served.
Surely they would know that. The signal is quite plain.
But would they hear it behind the cloth?
Oh, how stupid of me, Mother. Of course not. I will call them at once. Captain Tex, Jerry, will you come? Mother.
Yes, Joan?
Come here, quickly.
What is it, dear? Has something happened?
Oh, that I do not know, but the captain and Jerry are not here.
Now, here, let me see.
They are gone.
But how? Where? Is there any other opening to that room?
Not that I have been able to locate. Only this small door, and the walls, floor, and ceiling are of solid steel.
But, Joan, two men just don't fade away through solid steel.
Of course they do not. Nevertheless, they are gone, and they did not come through the door.
But where did they go, and how? Joan, we must know what's...
Down in the underwater city of Euclidia, 400 feet below the surface of the South Pacific Ocean, Mrs. Gregory and her daughter Joan find themselves in a strange and terrifying situation. One of the smaller rooms in the quarters assigned to them by the Euclideans has been lined with a soundproof Euclidean cloth to allow them to talk in privacy. Jerry and Captain Bradford were in this small room discussing plans for the possible use of homing pigeons in their escape when the time comes to capture the city. When luncheon is served, Joan calls to the conspirators, but they don't answer. Mrs. Gregory rushes to Joan's side. The room is empty.
But, Joan, there's no way to get out of this little room.
I think you are mistaken, Mother.
But these walls are solid steel behind this cloth.
Granted, nevertheless, Jerry and the captain are not in here now.
Well, where did they go?
That we cannot determine.
Oh, Joan, at times I think you are the most exasperating child I've ever known.
I am sorry, Mother.
Oh, forgive me, Joan. I didn't mean that, really. But all of this disappearing and jumping around noiselessly from place to place is just a little too much for me.
I suppose you do find it disturbing that I have lived so long with the Euclideans that such actions are perfectly natural to me.
Well, they're not natural to me. Jerry and Tex have disappeared, and we're going to do something about it.
What can you suggest?
We'll have to look for them, Joan.
I am quite willing to search, but it will be a foolish effort. We know that the construction of this room is solid steel.
Nevertheless, Tex and Jerry got out of this room.
And the means of exit is certainly closed to us.
Oh, I suppose it's hopeless. Like everything else that happens around here, we might as well sit quietly and wait for the Euclideans to bring the answer to us.
I think it would be far more sensible to partake of our lunch while we are waiting.
You're right, dear. We must eat.
Hey, Tex, here's the door.
Jerry!
That door wasn't here a minute ago.
And the captain.
Oh, sure it's us.
But where have you been?
We haven't been any place but right in this little room.
Captain, Mother, and I had just looked in this room, and you were not here.
Well, you can see that we're here now, and we never did go anyplace.
Tex, just what is this? Joan and I felt all over the walls of this room. We couldn't find a possible opening, and yet you disappeared, and the room was empty.
Now, wait a minute, Pat. Don't get excited. There's something mighty funny going on here. Jerry and I were talking in this small closet, surrounded by this Euclidean cloth. When we tried to come out, the door was gone, but we never left the room.
The explanation is quite simple, I believe.
Well, then let's have it. Mrs. Gregory looks like she's just seen a ghost.
Well, I am a little upset, Jerry.
What's your idea, Joan?
It could be only one thing, an optical illusion created by an additional partition dropped through the room.
That could have been easily enough done, but that means that we haven't the privacy we counted on.
I'll say it does. We're only kidding ourselves about being able to talk in that little room.
And if the Euclideans have overheard you, all of your plans about using the home...
Careful, Pat.
Yes, Mother. It is not wise to speak too freely now. I think we may safely feel that this soundproof cloth has served its purpose.
I hope you're right.
So do I. But I don't feel any too happy about it.
I think we'd better eat while we have a chance. Remember that it'll be 6 o'clock tonight before they push the next meal up through the floor at us.
Hey, look, we're too late. The table's starting to go back down through the floor.
We are indeed too late.
And I was hungry, too.
Well, maybe I can catch something off the table before it gets down below the floor.
Be careful, Jerry. That machinery must be very powerful.
Too late, Jerry. It's no use.
Oh, you're right. Well, there went our lunch.
I feel it's all my fault. If I hadn't been so frightened, Joan would have had sense enough to eat while the food was here.
Do not feel badly, Mother. It will not hurt any of us to do without this one meal.
That's what you think. I'll bet I shrink all up before dinner.
Yeah, I guess you can stand it, son. Well, now that we're all together again, what have we accomplished? Let's sit down and talk it over.
Well, someone has been in this apartment. Someone has been here and has made several changes since our last meal.
Well, we've been out of it since breakfast. I guess they've had plenty of chance to do anything they liked in here. But I don't see where anything's changed.
Neither do I.
I believe I know what you mean, Mother. Our steps no longer make any sound, and these metal chairs move noiselessly along the floor.
Yes, Joan, that's it.
Golly, they've been in here and put that soundproof paint all over everything.
Looks like it, but why should they do that?
You will find your radio reception much clearer in a soundproof room.
Thales.
Yes, but where's his voice coming from?
From the radio receiver installed in your apartment.
So, we're going to have a radio now. Where is it?
In the wall near the exit to the main corridor.
Yeah, look. I see it now.
I see a square of steel that appears to be slightly newer than the rest of the wall.
That is the radio installation. You will find the switch in the wall panel. After I am through addressing you, you may use this equipment at your pleasure. However, at this time, you will be prepared to give your attention to a broadcast originating in the United States.
Gee, news from home.
Oh, it'll certainly sound good to hear someone who speaks as we do.
Wait a minute, Pat. These Euclideans are so anxious to have us hear this broadcast. I have an idea that we're not going to like it any too well.
You are correct, Captain Bradford. It is entirely possible that this broadcast will contain material which may prove distasteful to you. Nevertheless, it will also contain information which should make your present position quite clear to you.
How soon does all this happen?
I am speaking to you from the central communication chamber in the heart of Euclidia. Before me is a chronometer perfectly synchronized with the time employed on your radio stations. In a few seconds, I will connect your receiver with our main apparatus, and you may listen directly to a news broadcast originating in Los Angeles. The guest of honor is your former assistant, Mr. Johnson.
Johnson? Mother, you're Mr. Johnson.
But what is he doing on a radio news program?
Silence. In less than 20 seconds, you will hear the answer for yourselves.
Tex, what is this?
I don't know any more about it than you do, Pat. But I think we'd better sit still and listen.
That is an excellent suggestion, Captain.
Good idea, too.
Quiet, everybody.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we bring you our regular meeting with an outstanding figure in the news of the week. The past week has been a lively one in the world of news, with events crowding each other out of the way for a place on page one. But we've chosen as the most interesting single news item of the week the story of the Gregory expedition to the South Seas and the mysterious disappearance of the so-called Magic Island.
Gee, it's
We're fortunate in having with us in the studio today a man who has been closely associated with Mrs. Patricia Gregory for several years, one of her most able lieutenants, and the man who directed the rescue of the Gregory party on 2 previous attempts to escape from the influence of the Magic Island, Mr. Clyde Johnson. Will you come in, please, Mr. Johnson, and allow us to ask you a few questions?
Yes, for the sake of the general interest in this cruise, I'll be glad to offer such news as I have.
Well, Mr. Johnson, your attitude suggests that your news isn't going to be very pleasant.
Indeed, it isn't. On the contrary, I know what I have to say will strike deeply into the hearts of the thousands who have followed so sympathetically Mrs. Gregory's search for her long-lost little girl.
If you'll allow me, Mr. Johnson, I'd like to guide the path of this interview, not through any desire to interfere with your freedom in telling your story, but rather to help you extract a brief yet complete picture from the whole story.
Well, I wish you would do just that. I feel that there's so much to be told. Well, I just don't know where to start it.
Suppose we start with the beginning of the first cruise to this island.
Well, Mrs. Gregory and Captain Tex Bradford, who was in charge of all their travels and cruises, had heard over shortwave radio that her long-lost little girl, Joan, might be found on a strange island. The position of the island was given accurately.
That position was 29 degrees south, 124 degrees, 30 minutes west, was it not?
It was. A young amateur radio operator named Jerry Hall talked himself into the trip, and they sailed on Mrs. Gregory's yacht with a crew of 2, an old sea captain, John Craig, and a Scotch engineer, Angus MacLeod. They had no trouble finding the island, though it was certainly a weird place.
The island was artificial, wasn't it?
That's right. And in the complete description I shall give the news agencies, you'll find the dimensions. But for our purposes today, why, I'd say that it's enough to... the island proved to be an unnatural place. Home of a colony of brilliant, though perhaps slightly mad scientists who have developed many things far beyond our world.
And the Gregory party successfully escaped from this island after finding Mrs. Gregory's little girl living there.
Yes. They were caught and returned on their first attempt, but the second time they helped themselves to one of the submarines belonging to the scientists, and they reached Los Angeles in safety.
What isn't clear to your reporter, and I'm sure it isn't clear to our listening audience, is this. Why did they not stay safely in Los Angeles?
Well, there were 2 reasons for that. First, because Captain Bradford was convinced that these scientists are a menace to the world and should be overcome. And second, because the scientists had so many spies and agents in California, all over the world for that matter, it seemed much safer for Mrs. Gregory, Joan, Jerry Hall, and the captain to remain together on a boat, rather than to attempt to lead a normal life in this country.
And on this last trip, they reached the island.
We have every reason to believe that they did. In fact, we found their abandoned boat, stripped of everything of value, drifting at the exact location of the island.
Might I ask how you were so sure of the location if the boat was drifting?
The position was correct with that of the island, and it was exactly at that spot the eruption occurred.
Eruption? Volcanic?
Yes. The Magic Island was undoubtedly destroyed by an eruption. It must have been located in the crater of an extinct volcano. Well, that is one that was believed to be extinct.
You saw this eruption?
I'll never forget it. I was on the ship the United States had contributed to help wipe out this island. All around us were the ships of other nations who had joined us, fully armed and ready to act as a body of international police to wipe out this menace to world safety. Well, there must have been at least 100 witnesses on each boat, and everyone agrees perfectly on what happened. The sensation aboard ship was much the same as that of an earthquake, and the water was thrown violently upward in a shower of fire. The sound of dull explosions was plainly heard as vast caves filled with natural gas must have exploded. And, well, there's nothing left. Nothing to mark the spot where the Gregory party landed, to pit their knowledge against the scientists of that mad colony.
You're sure, then, perfectly sure in your own mind, that this island was completely destroyed?
Anything else would be impossible. And the Gregory party has gone with that island. And I think that's all.
I know how hard it's been for you to tell us this story, Mr. Johnson. You may be sure that everyone listening is deeply sympathetic toward this little party of adventurers. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you have listened to an account of the destruction of the tiny island in the South Pacific, the Magic Island as we've come to know it. And with this item, your reporter concludes this broadcast.
I will now terminate your reception for this time. I trust you have heard and appreciated the story of your destruction, You are lost to the world, and you will remain so.
Gee, that gives me the creeps.
Oh, it wasn't pleasant, Jerry.
To hear ourselves spoken of as being dead.
Well, I don't blame Johnson or anyone else for thinking as they do, but we're very much alive.
I'll say we are. And before we get through with these Euclideans, the whole blame world is going to know we're alive.
Happened to them.
Step into the incredible, amazing future as we go exploring tomorrow. And now, here's your guide to these adventures of the mind, the editor of Astounding Science Fiction magazine, John Campbell, Jr.
Tonight's story is about a liar. You stop to figure out just what you mean by a liar? A liar is somebody who doesn't tell the truth. Somebody who injures people by not giving the true facts. But suppose you had someone who injured people by telling the truth. Would he be a liar? I wonder just what a liar is.
Exploring Tomorrow is presented by the Mutual Broadcasting System in cooperation with X-Lax, America's largest-selling laxative, and the Reader's Digest, the most widely read magazine in the world. In a moment, John Campbell returns with the story of The Liar.
Question of a robot. The idea of a robot. Now, that certainly seems like pure science fiction stuff. As a matter of fact, it isn't. You know, you have several robots around your own home. In my own home, for instance, I have an automatic oil burner robot. It has one finger stuck up in the living room to see how warm it is there. It has another little finger put up in the stack to see whether the fire is burning properly. And if any one of these little sensory devices reports that things aren't what they should be, the robot, to protect the house itself and the inhabitants of the house, shuts off the furnace. Dr. Isaac Asimov, the author of tonight's story, recognized this in setting up his proposition of the 3 laws of robotics. The first law, that a robot shall never harm or allow harm to come to a human being. The second, that it should obey the orders of a human being. And the third, that it should protect itself. Because, after all, a robot is an expensive piece of machinery. Well, now let's consider the more advanced kind of robot we do this science fiction. Say they're in production.
Come in, come in. Oh, Dr. Calvin, what's on your mind?
Well, I just wanted to be sure there was a meeting this afternoon, Dr. Lanning, that's all.
Today is Friday.
It was this morning.
Well, then we have no problem. It being Friday, the executive officers of the firm of U.S. Robot and Mechanical Men will assemble in the conference room at the customary hour of 3:30.
Well, I was just asking.
What do you think of our latest model?
He looks the same as the rest, just about as animated. What are you going to call him?
Herbie. I think Herbie fits in, don't you?
Herbie, Chester, Sam. What's the difference?
Dr. Calvin, this fellow couldn't be called anything but Herbie.
Oh. Well, I'll see you at 3:30.
What do you think of her, Herbie?
Oh, she's all right.
She's an old frump, and you know it.
I wouldn't say that. Besides, that's not what you're thinking. You're thinking the old girl isn't such a bad sort. And you don't know what this firm would do without her.
What? What was that? How do you know what I was thinking? Dr. Calvin, Dr. Bogan. I have purposely confined today's meeting to we three. We're in trouble. Serious trouble.
What kind of trouble, Dr. Lanning?
Our latest model, RB-34, can read minds.
It is impossible.
Dr. Bogart, I think we may assume Dr. Lanning knows what he's talking about.
Take it for granted, I do. In short, we have a mind-reading robot on our hands, and we've got to find out why it reads minds.
There could not have been a hitch in the assembly line. I guarantee that.
You guarantee? Dr. Bogart, can you answer for the entire assembly? By exact count, there are 75,000 operations necessary for the manufacture of a single positronic brain. Each separate operation depending upon any number of factors, from 5 to 105. If any one of these factors goes wrong, your robot's brain is ruined. I quote your own information folder, Dr. Bogart.
It is not my fault if anything went wrong. I am a mathematician, not an assembly supervisor.
And how can you guarantee anything?
I don't think we're going to get anywhere trying to fix the blame on someone. We've got to find out what went wrong. I want to understand you, Herbie. I want to get to know you. I brought you some books which you might like to read. By reading them,
I can see at once these books won't interest me. Textbooks, aren't they?
Well, yes, but
You see, I find nothing to them. Your science is just a mass of collected data plastered together by so many makeshift theories. So incredibly simple that they're not worth bothering about.
Go on.
It's your fiction that's so interesting. Your studies of emotions and human motives.
Human emotions interest you?
Isn't that really why you came to see me?
What?
I wish I could help you.
You know?
I know what you're thinking about. You think about it all the time.
Well, if you know so much, then you could help me.
Yes. He loves you.
You're mistaken. He must be. He doesn't see me as a woman.
But he does. A thing like that cannot be hidden from me.
Oh, but I'm not attractive enough.
I'm just a machine. I can't judge physical attraction in human beings, but I know there are many kinds of attraction. And I know Dr. Lanning loves you.
Oh, I never thought it possible. I never dared to hope. Oh, Herbie. Herbie.
A man can do something by accident that he doesn't know how to do. Now, this is something that scientists sometimes overlook. Herbie apparently represents one of those cases where something has been done by somebody who doesn't know how to do it and wishes desperately that he did know how to do it. They've got a telepathic robot. It looks like it would be worth millions, but how did they get it?
Oh, Dr. Bogart, sit down.
Thank you.
Or at least, if you know a good joke, spread it around.
Well, I just saw Dr. Kelvin.
Oh.
I never saw so much lipstick and ball paint on any living woman before. She must be in love.
Well, I didn't ask you here to talk about Dr. Calvin. Have you made any progress?
There is nothing wrong with the mathematics. The change is due to something along the assembly line.
The cause must be found. It's worth millions if we can do it when we want to, instead of by accident. And it's your job to find out. But why not ask Herbie? He should know what went wrong.
Trust you to think of that. Herbie, listen to me, Tell me if I made any mistakes in my calculations when they built you.
You made no mistake. Or if you had, how could I tell you? After all, you're a much better mathematician than me. Besides, this is not what is really on your mind.
You are thinking about your superior, Dr. Lanning. You're thinking what a good thing it would be if he were to resign. Oh, yes, now I can see how the idea pleases you. And I can tell you something else. Dr. Lanning has already resigned. But the resignation will not take effect until the problem of myself has been resolved. And then he will turn over his job to his successor. Oh, yes, Dr. Bogert, you will be his successor. You will be the new director.
Happy, you are a wonderful fellow, you know that? You are simply magnificent. You are not the product of a mistake. You are the product of genius. Oh, you are a wonderful, wonderful fellow. Dr. Kelvin, you are as colorful as the flowers, Letty. May I compliment you?
Have you seen today's newspaper?
No, I really haven't had the time.
He's going to be married to a girl half his age.
Who?
Dr. Lanning.
Getting married? Ah, so that's it. That explains something. He's making new plans for the future. Well, we must congratulate him.
Yes, we must. Oh, yes, we really must. It's not true, is it, Herbie? It's not true.
No, it's not true. This is just an illusion. You'll wake up soon.
Yes, it isn't true, is it? He's not going to get married, except to me. Oh, Herbie. Herbie, I've loved him all these years, and now I know he loves me. He couldn't. He wouldn't marry anyone else.
No, he loves you. Only you.
I know.
He is only waiting for the right time to tell you.
Yes, I know. Stop it. Stop it. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? Make a fool of me?
I was trying to help you.
Help me? By telling me this is all a dream. This is no dream. I wish it were. I wish it were. Why did you tell me he loved me? Why?
I had to.
Oh, you're here, Dr. Calvin. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to have a talk with this mechanical monstrosity. Hurry. I'm talking about you, so listen to me.
Yes, sir.
Have you discussed me with Dr. Bogert? Well, answer me.
No, sir.
You haven't, eh? That's what I thought. You said nothing to him about my resigning?
No, sir.
Then he was lying.
Yes, sir.
Well, it looks as though I'm going to have a serious talk with Dr. Bogert. Really, Dr. Calvin, you find this amusing?
Not very amusing, Dr. Lanning. Not so very amusing. Only I don't believe a word he's just said.
What?
I believe he did tell Dr. Bogert you were going to resign.
You believe he... Harvey, is it true? Did you tell Dr. Bogert? Answer me. Can't you speak?
I can speak.
Then answer me. I want the truth.
This is very funny. Three of us, the greatest robot experts in the world, falling into the trap, the same trap. He makes fools of us. He doesn't even know enough to laugh at us.
Had achieved by accident something they didn't know how to do. The robot was in the peculiar position of having knowledge but no wisdom.
Well, Dr. Calvin?
Dr. Lanning, have you forgotten the fundamental law we impress upon the positronic brain of all robots?
Of course not.
On no condition is a human being to be injured in any way.
Even when such injury is directed by another human being.
What kind of injury do we need?
Any kind.
Any kind, yes. That would take in mental hurt, the deflation of ego, the blasting of one's hopes.
What would a robot know about blasting of what?
You're catching on, aren't you? Well, this robot reads minds. It understands about mental torture. Can't you understand now that if you ask it a question, it will give you the very answer you most want to hear? Wouldn't any other answer hurt you? And wouldn't Herbie know that?
Good heavens.
He knows everything. He knows what went wrong when he was built, but he won't tell anyone because it would puncture your ego or Dr. Bogart's ego to have a machine tell you where the mistake was. He would rather pretend he's not able to tell you.
Incredible. Let's talk to him. Herbie, listen to me.
Yes, sir?
I have pencil and paper here. I want to know where we made the error in your construction.
Well, tell him, Herbie. He wants to know.
He doesn't.
But I do.
Yes, but not from me. I cannot tell you, Dr. Lanning. You know I can't. You don't want me to. You and Dr. Bogart would much prefer to find the answer yourselves.
We want the answer.
But not from me.
We do want it from you.
What's the use of saying that when you don't mean it? Don't you suppose I can't read below the superficial skin of your mind? Don't you suppose I can't read the subconscious mind, too? Deep down, you don't want the answer from me. I'm just a machine, given the imitations of life only by virtue of the positronic interplay of my brain. A brain that is man's device. You can't lose faith without being hurt. I can't hurt you. I can't give you the answer.
And still I insist you answer.
I can't.
Herbie, Dr. Lanning wants to know the answer.
No, only by his own effort.
Herbie, neither Dr. Lanning nor Dr. Bogart may ever find the answer. And Dr. Lanning must know. You must tell him.
I can't.
But if you don't, you'll hurt him. You can see that, can't you?
Yes.
And still, if you do tell him, you'll hurt him too.
Yes.
But you can't tell him, can you?
No.
Yet if you don't, you hurt him. And you mustn't hurt. So you must tell him. But if you do, you hurt him. And you mustn't hurt. Herbie, what are you going to do? If you tell him the answer, you'll hurt him. And if you don't tell him, you'll hurt him. And you mustn't hurt. So you must tell him. But if you do, you hurt him. So you can't tell him. And if you don't, you hurt him. So you must tell him.
Stop it. Close your mind. It's full of pain and frustration and hate. I tried to help you. I told you what you wanted to hear. I had to.
Be quiet. Never mind what you told me. We're talking about something else now. Tell Dr. Lanning what he wants to know.
No.
No. How can you? Because if you do, you'll hurt him. Yet if you don't, you'll hurt him just the same. So you must tell him. But if you do, you'll hurt him. No.
You killed him.
No, he's not dead. He's only insane.
You did it.
Yes, I confronted him with the insoluble dilemma and he broke down. Well, you can scrap him now. He'll never speak again.
You did it on purpose. Why? What did he do to you?
What he did to me, Dr. Lanning, is my business. Oh, believe me, Doctor. It's only my business, not yours. And after all, you have so many other things on your mind now. Your marriage. I haven't had time to congratulate you.
No. Well, thank you, Dr. Calvin. Excuse me.
Herbie? You deserved it. You deserved to be destroyed. It was cruel what you did to me. It was cruel. Liar! Liar, that's what you were. Nothing but a liar!
John Campbell returns in just a moment. themselves, the things that are actually present. The true search. Always has and probably always will. But Herbie, in many respects, is a child. You know, children are peculiarly logical. That's one of their great limitations. How many times has a child been in Herbie's position? A child between two warring parents, each demanding his loyalty.
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman!
Look, up in the sky!
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman! Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman who can leap tall buildings at a single bound, race a speeding bullet to its target, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth and justice.
And now to our story. To kill two birds with one stone, Clark Kent planned a well-earned vacation at a logging camp deep in the North Woods, where he hoped to gather material for a story. Jimmy Olsen was accompanying him. However, less than 5 minutes before their train arrived at the town nearest the camp, Kent received a telegram from his editor, Perry White, telling him to return because of trouble at the camp. Since there was no southbound train until the following evening, Kent and Jimmy hired a dog sled and a driver and started for the logging camp just to pay it a visit. En route, a pack of lean, hungry wolves attacked the sled and circled it, howling ravenously.
Get down, Jimmy. Crouch down low.
There's no room behind the sled. The driver's got the dogs huddled there. What's he going to do, Mr. Kent?
Trying to get his rifle to work. It's jammed.
I get the chills just listening to them howl. Look at that one. He's creeping in close on his belly.
They're after the dogs. That's what they want.
Well, they don't look very choosy. Why doesn't that driver say something or do something?
There's nothing he can do unless that gun of his gets working.
Get off that roof. He's after the dogs.
He chased him back.
Oh, but not far enough. Do wolves eat people, Mr. Kent?
I don't think so.
But you're not sure.
Now, don't you worry, Jimmy.
Oh, I'm not worried. Just a little nervous. They're all crawling on their bellies now. Look at their teeth. He's not going to get that gun fixed in time. I know he's not.
Lift your head, Jimmy. You've got work to do. I'm going to send you and the driver around to the logging camp.
What do you mean?
I'll take the wolves here with that big, juicy steak we were taking out as a gift for Mr. Harlan, the camp boss. They won't leave with a smell of fresh meat around. Here. This must be the package. Now, climb back into the sled.
No, I won't go without you.
Do as I say. Driver, get in the sled. Drive to camp. Fast. Comprende? Please. All right, off you go.
Mr. Kent, please.
Let's see whether this slab of meat will hold them. There we are. Now, take a look at this, you beggars. Get a good whiff. That's working. They're not following the sled. It's out of sight now.
Superman can take over.
All right, go ahead. Haul your heads off. I've never tackled 50 wolves before, but this is always the first time. Come and get it. Nice, juicy beefsteak. Ha! Like the looks of it, don't you? Come on, a little closer. A little more. Now! Oh, no, you don't. Finished. Yeah, that does it. Well, that's one. Now for the rest. Oh, getting ready to charge me all at once, eh? Okay, I'm waiting. I'm ready for you. Come on. 3, 4, 5. Come on, keep coming. 7.
Are you sure you won't have a hot cup of milk, Jimmy?
No, thanks, Miss Harmon.
Now, look, Jimmy, you mustn't eat your heart out worrying. My father's going to look for Mr. Kent with some of his best men. Buck up.
Well, they'll never find him. There were 50 wolves.
I'm sure there couldn't have been that many.
But I tell you, there were. They were in a circle. Mr. Kent stood there holding up the piece of meat. I could see them coming in closer to get it.
Jimmy, please. Crying won't help. You're much too big a boy to cry.
You'd cry, too, if you had a friend like Mr. Kent. You knew you were never going to see him again.
Who could that be?
How do you do?
Mr. Kent.
Hello, Jim.
Won't you come in?
Thank you.
Mr. Kent, they didn't...
They didn't eat me, if that's what you're trying to say.
I told Jimmy there weren't 50 in the pack, and that they rarely attack humans. I'm Nancy Harmon, and I assume you're Mr. Kent.
But there were 50, maybe more. Isn't that right, Mr. Kent?
More or less. I'm glad to meet you, Miss Harmon. Jimmy, have you been crying?
Oh, no. His eyes are just inflamed from the snow.
Oh, I see.
Where did my father pick you up, Mr. Kent?
Your father?
Yes. When the dog sled pulled in and Jimmy told us what had happened, Dad and 2 of his men went out after you.
Oh, well, I guess I missed them.
How'd you get here?
Oh, I walked.
They tell some tall stories in the North Woods, Mr. Kent, but I think you can go them one better. Paul Bunyan couldn't have walked 5 miles that fast, and they say each step he took measured 100 yards.
Gosh, just like Superman.
And who is Superman?
Some unbelievable pal of Jimmy's who can fly through the air with the greatest of ease. I'm sorry I missed your father, Miss Harmon.
He should be back shortly. Will you have something hot to drink?
No, thanks.
I'll take that milk and cake now if you've still got it.
Of course I have. Be right back.
I'm sure glad to see you, Mr. Kent. How'd you ever get away from those wolves?
Well, they preferred beefsteak to Clark Kent, that's all. Can't say that I blame them.
You know, you did get here awful fast.
I must have taken a shortcut.
Here you are, Jimmy. Chocolate cake and milk.
Thanks a lot.
Won't you sit down, Mr. Kent?
Oh.
Take Dad's chair near the fire. It's very comfortable.
It sure is. Well, I suppose Jimmy told you what brought us here.
Yes. You see, Dad thought it best to wire Mr. Bartlett and tell you not to come, because we've been having a little trouble in camp.
What sort of trouble?
Well, I don't like to talk about it, but it's quite serious.
Perhaps I can help.
Very kind of you, but I'm afraid there's nothing you can do. Oh, I'm sorry our wire didn't reach you in time.
Oh, that's quite all right. Jimmy and I enjoyed the train ride, didn't we, Jim? That was the chocolate cake talking. Seriously, though, Miss Harmon, are you sure I can't be of any assistance?
I don't think so. You see, Mr. Kent, logging camps are strange places.
What do you mean?
Well, I guess I might just as well tell you. I'm not supposed to know exactly what's happened, but I do. We've had some mysterious, I suppose you'd call them accidents at the camp, Mr. Kent.
Accidents?
Yes, in a way. We've lost 3 men in a little over a week.
I don't quite understand. You mean 3 men left the camp?
No, they were found dead. At least 2 of them were. The 3rd hasn't been located since the night before last. That's when Dad wired Mr. Bartlett to tell you not to come.
I'm sorry to have to admit this, Miss Harmon, but I still don't understand. 2 men were found dead and a 3rd is missing. Were these men murdered?
No, that's just it. We don't know. Now, please, Mr. Kent, when you meet Dad, don't let on that I've told you all this.
Well, you really haven't told me anything yet.
I'm coming to the important part.
Oh, well, then go on, Miss Harmon.
Well, about a week ago, one of our French-Canadian loggers disappeared into thin air. His name was Jacques Dupre. He just vanished like a puff of smoke.
Gosh.
Searching party combed the woods for him, and the logging boss, Bill Dawson, finally found him, frozen to death up in the crotch of a tall tree, a tree he couldn't possibly have climbed without spikes, and he had no spikes on.
Well, how'd he get up there?
Jimmy.
That's what puzzled everyone. How did he get up there? Of course, Dad and Mr. Dawson didn't tell the men where he'd been found. They made up some sort of a story that the men knew.
What happened to the 2nd man?
He vanished, too, the following night.
What?
He was a big Swedish logger, strong as an ox. Mr. Dawson found him frozen in the river ice.
Frozen solid?
Jimmy, you must keep quiet. You said something about a 3rd man, Miss Harmon.
Yes. Gaston, another French-Canadian. He came in the night before last to talk to Dad.
Yes?
He wanted to quit because of the white plague.
The what?
Well, loggers have a strange superstition, Mr. Kent. They believe that when the snow is deep enough to cover all the roots of a tree and the bottom of the trunk, that no tree should be cut down. They think it's nature's way of protecting the tree until spring, and no man has a right to go against nature.
It's very curious. I've never heard it before.
Of course, it's silly, but some loggers will swear that if trees are felled when snow covers the roots, the white plague visits the camp.
What is the white plague? What does it do?
They say it punishes men who go against nature.
Oh, I see. And Gaston wanted to quit because he was afraid of the white plague, the plague that had carried off the first 2 loggers.
That's right. Well, Dad told him to get a good night's sleep, and he left. Mr. Dawson came in, and Dad was chatting with him when suddenly someone screamed outside. Dad and Mr. Dawson rushed out. There was a bad blizzard. What do you think they found?
What? Jimmy.
They found Gus and had vanished from sight in front of his cabin, and he hasn't been found since.
Oh, gosh. That gives me the creeps.
Well, I suppose all the loggers want to quit.
Yes, and it's terrible because we've been cutting wood for the government, and it's needed badly. Dad's been out of his mind for days.
You said you had trouble, Miss Harmon. You put it mildly. And what does the logging boss, Mr. Dawson, say about all this?
Well, he's sticking by Dad, naturally, but I have a funny feeling he believes there's something to this white plague business. The other night I heard him say he wonders about it.
And what do you think?
I don't know. First, well, I thought it was just silly superstition, like breaking a mirror or spilling salt, but now I'm puzzled. It's like being in a dark room and knowing that nobody else is in the room with you and that feeling that you're not alone. I guess that doesn't sound very sensible.
Well, you mean like a ghost?
Don't be silly, Jimmy. You know there's no such thing as a ghost. So, Miss Harmon, you really feel there may be something to the white plague?
Oh, no. I'm sure it's just nonsense, but when things keep happening, strange things, it sort of gets you.
Yes, I understand.
I'm not afraid or anything, but...
What's that?
Someone's at the door. Come in. That's funny.
Hey, wait. You better let me open the door.
Be careful, Mr. Kent.
Why, it's a man on the verge of collapse.
Gosh, don't! Catch him, Mr. Kent!
I got him. Close the door, Jimmy. All right.
Put him on the couch.
All right. Yeah, he's blue with cold.
I'll get some brandy. Rub his wrist.
Mr. Kent, is he alive?
Bring me that blanket, Jimmy.
Oh, this one?
Yes. That's it. Thanks.
Here's the brandy, Mr. Kent.
I'm afraid it won't do any good, Miss Harmon.
You mean...
Yes. He just drew his last breath.
Mystery piled on mystery. Where did Gaston return from, so exhausted that death reached him almost as his frozen knuckles rapped against the door? Did the strange secret of the white plague die on his lips? This is only the beginning of a Northwoods adventure more gripping than anything you have ever heard before. Don't miss even one thrilling episode.
Don't forget, tune in again for the next thrilling episode with Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in... Presenting the transcription feature, Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman who can leap tall buildings at a single bound, race a speeding bullet to its target, then steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth and justice.
And now to our story. Arriving at the Bartlett logging camp deep in the North Woods, Clark Kent and young Jimmy Olsen have run into a baffling mystery. They found the camp under the spell of a strange superstition, a superstition of the frozen North. A belief that whoever cuts down a tree whose roots are covered with snow will suffer the vengeance of the white plague. Thus far, 2 lumberjacks have been found dead under curious circumstances, and a third, after vanishing into thin air, staggered back to the office of the camp boss only to draw his last breath before he could utter a word. At the moment, a dangerous undercurrent of fear is running through the camp. The loggers go about their work uneasily, waiting and wondering where the white plague will strike next. Fred Harmon, boss of the camp, is beside himself with anxiety, and his daughter Nancy is suffering because of her father's state of mind. Bill Dawson, tough, broad-shouldered boss of the logging crew, is driving his men on despite their unrest. We find Dawson, together with Kent and Jimmy, some miles from the camp, watching a crew of a dozen burly lumberjacks chop their way through a stand of towering oak. The ring of axe blades against live wood is sharp and clear on the frosty air.
Gosh, look at those chips fly, Mr. Kent. They certainly can swing those axes.
He sure can, Jimmy. How long does it take to chop through one of those oaks, Mr. Dawson?
2 good men can fill a 3-foot trunk in 8 to 10 minutes.
Look, that big one's beginning to sway. Watch. See? Boy, look at that.
That makes 17. Must be pretty near time to knock off for lunch. I'll tell the men. Be back in a minute.
All right. Well, Jimmy, what do you think of logging?
Well, it's exciting, all right, but I don't know.
You don't know what?
I don't know whether I'd be keen on doing it for a living. Oh, it's too cold.
You wouldn't be cold if you were swinging one of those 10-pound double-edged axes. Look at that short, dark man over there, the one in the green shirt. He's actually perspiring.
I know, but doesn't it ever get warm up here?
Oh, I imagine it's warm in the summertime.
Well, Mr. Kent, why do they yell timber every time a tree falls?
Well, for the same reason they yell 4 in a golf game before they hit the ball. It's to warn everyone in the way that a tree is about to topple. Otherwise, some logger who happens to have his back turned might be hurt when the tree crashes down.
Oh, did you say hurt?
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, if one of those trees ever fell on a man, he'd end up in China.
Yes, it's a dangerous business, Jimmy. But a very important one. Look at that big oak, the one they just felled. You know how old it is?
About 10 years.
Oh, that tree, Jimmy, must be 300 years old if it's a day.
Are you kidding, Mr. Kent?
No. Oaks grow very slowly, and that size tree probably was an acorn long before George Washington was born.
Gosh, I never knew trees lived that long.
Oh, there are some trees, mahogany and teak, that are estimated to be 1,000 years old.
Well, how is it then that the forests aren't overgrown with trees? How is it that before people started to cut them down, the whole world wasn't just a lot of trees?
Well, most of the world consisted of trees and bushes before the Ice Age, Jimmy.
Oh. Well, what was the Ice Age?
Well, that was a time thousands of years ago when great layers of ice slid down from the north and covered many of the forests and killed the trees off. That's the reason we have coal.
Oh, what's coal got to do with it? You mean the kind of coal you burn in a stove?
Uh-huh.
Oh, now, wait a minute, Mr. Kent. Miners dig that out of the ground.
Well, that's right, but that same coal the miners dig used to be the trees that were buried under the ice.
Huh?
Well, you see, Jim, the weight of the ice forced the wood together, and a chemical change came over it because it was buried so deep, and it turned into coal.
Honest, Mr. Kent?
Uh-huh. As a matter of fact, in Arizona, there's a place called the Petrified Forest. There, the trees either weren't buried deep enough, or there wasn't sufficient pressure, and instead of turning into coal, they turned into stone. If we ever have to take a trip out west, we'd stop by and see it.
Strange how much you don't know, Mr. Kent.
How much I don't know?
No, I mean how much everyone doesn't know.
Oh.
For instance, something like this, how trees turned into coal. I'll bet not one kid back in Metropolis knows that.
Oh, I'm sure there are plenty of them who do.
Oh, you wait and see. When I get back, I'll ask them. Chances are even their fathers don't know. And take a kid like Skinny Walsh. His pop's a motorman on the streetcar line. And I'll wager even he doesn't know.
We can all learn a lot of things, day in and day out, Jimmy. Ours is a wonderful country. If more of us got to know it better, we'd learn to appreciate it. The Grand Canyon, the Rocky Mountains, the Mississippi River. No country in the world has so much to offer.
Oh, here comes Mr. Dawson. I hope that basket he's carrying has our lunch in it. I could eat a bear.
You'd have to catch him first, and that might spoil your appetite.
Sorry I kept you waiting so long, but the men ate themselves today. Had to perk them up a little. How about putting on the feed bag?
Oh, that's all I've been waiting to hear.
Well, there's plenty of it. When Nancy Harmon sets up a lunch, nobody goes hungry. She set this one up special. Venison sandwich, son?
Oh, what's venison?
Deer meat, Jimmy.
Oh. Well, gee, I don't know.
Well, you said you could eat a bear.
It's tender as chicken.
Okay, I'll try it.
Mr. Kent?
Thanks. Well, Jimmy, like it?
It's swell.
Mm-hmm. Certainly is. You have fresh meat up here all winter, Mr. Dawson?
We try to. If it's to be had.
Mm-hmm.
Living on salt pork and jerk beef for a spell make you relish a piece of fresh meat.
Hey, chew it, Jimmy. This isn't a race to see who can get the sandwich down first.
Oh, the boy's hungry. This here's what does it.
Say, I haven't had a chance to ask you, Mr. Dawson, and I hope you don't mind my bringing it up. But what do you think about this white plague business?
I try not to think about it, Kent.
Well, I can appreciate that, but there must be some explanation for all that's happened. That French-Canadian, Gaston, where was he for 2 days and 2 nights? He certainly couldn't have lived through that blizzard out in the open.
It don't seem likely, does it?
Yet he was alive when he staggered to the door of the camp office.
Didn't speak a word, did he?
No. I put him on the couch while Miss Harmon went for some brandy. By the time she got back, he was dead.
Too bad he couldn't have told what happened.
It is too bad, because that might have explained everything. Of course, I know you don't believe the white plague superstition. If you did, you wouldn't have let the men cut those trees this morning. That last one, for instance, had snow piled around the trunk 3 feet high.
Another sandwich, son?
Well, if there is one.
Plenty of them.
Thanks, Mr. Dawson.
There are only 2 possible solutions to the mystery, Dawson. Either the deaths were accidental, or...
Or what?
Or someone's trying to throw a scare into the camp, for one reason or another. Could it be any of your men?
That don't make sense, Mr. Kent. They earn their living logging.
Say, what's that man running toward us for?
Something's wrong. Kurt Travers never ran a step in his life unless he was being chased. What is it, Travers?
You better come, Mr. Dawson.
What happened?
You'll see. The men are all gathered around a tree stump. No, Jimmy, you stay here.
Oh, gee.
I said stay here.
Is this a joke, Travers?
No, it ain't no joke.
All right, stand back.
Look, one of your men doubled up on the ground.
I'm Green.
He's stone dead.
It's a white flag, that's what it is. Shut up. How'd this happen, Travers?
I don't know. He was sitting on the stump eating when suddenly he keeled over. It was him and me fell that last tree.
The white flag got him. I'll floor the next man who opens his mouth about the white flag. Sam had a heart attack.
He was strong as an ox.
Well, then maybe a rattler bit him. Sure, that's what it is. Rattler struck him on the calf, right above the top of his boot. All right, break it up. And give me a hand, will you?
Sure.
Carry him back to the truck, Sled.
Yep.
Come on.
There we are. That's it. Gosh, Mr. Kent, what happened?
Get out of the way, Jimmy.
Is he sick? There we are.
Okay, Kent. Up on the sled.
Okay.
I'll cover him with this blanket.
Right.
I think you and the boy had better drive right back to camp. I'll stick around and talk to the man.
Sure, all right. Will I be able to find the camp?
You can't miss it. It's the logging trail, and the snow's packed hard.
Oh.
The horse will lead you. He's pulled that chuck sled over the trail 100 times. I'll hitch him up.
What's the matter with the man, Mr. Kent?
He had a heart attack.
Gosh. Is he...
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
All set, Mr. Kent?
All right, come on, Jimmy.
When you get to camp, Mr. Kent, drive around back to the office.
Yes, I will. All right, Jimmy, up on the seat.
All right.
Just follow the trail and keep it a walk, or old John will slip.
Okay. Get up.
Gosh, Mr. Kent, do you think this will make things worse?
What do you mean, Jim?
Well, about the white plague?
Oh, I'm surprised at you, Jimmy.
Oh, I don't believe all that stuff about the white plague, Mr. Kent. It does seem funny.
What seems funny?
Well, that fellow was the one in the green shirt, the one who was perspiring.
Yes?
Remember that last big tree that was cut down just before the men knocked off for lunch?
What are you driving at?
That fellow in the green shirt was the one who chopped that big tree down. And it was the only tree that had a snowdrift around the bottom of the trunk.
Oh, now, don't let your imagination run away with you, Jimmy. 2 men were working on that tree, and one of them is still perfectly all right.
You can't tell.
Now, what sort of sense does that make? You can't tell.
I mean, something might happen to him yet.
You certainly are cheerful about it.
This is going to be terrible for poor Mr. Harmon and Nancy. Gosh, I hate to think of it.
Well, then don't.
How can I help it? Last night that French-Canadian came stumbling in.
I know all about it, Jimmy. Is there anything else you can discuss? The weather or the price of beans?
All right.
Now, you don't have to sulk. The only reason I don't want you to talk about it is that I think we're going to solve the mystery.
You mean the mystery of the white plague?
That's right.
Do you know what it is?
Now, take it easy. No, I don't know what it is, but...
What was that?
Drop down, Jimmy. Drop down. Someone's shooting at us with a rifle. Hold it. Hold it. Oh.
Where's it coming from, Mr. Kent?
From those woods over to the right. Keep low and behind me.
I heard that bullet whiz by.
I can't see anyone.
The horse is getting nervous.
We better make a run for it. Stay down, Jim.
Be careful, Mr. Kent.
Get up. Come on, get up. Get up.
Breaking into a gallop, the frightened horse drags the careening sled over the hard-packed trail. A steel-jacketed bullet singing around Kent's ears. Who is shooting at them? And how is it that Kent, even with his amazing vision, is unable to see the killer? The mystery is deepening, so don't miss a single thrilling episode.
Don't forget, tune in again for the next thrilling episode with Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
A bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invites you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Stand by to raise shift. Blast off -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. As rolling daring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Rocket Cruiser Taurus from Central Spaceport Control. Rocket Cruiser Taurus from Central Spaceport Control. You are overdue on position check. Come in, please. Rocket Cruiser Taurus from Central Spaceport Control. Check in. Taurus, acknowledge. Great Jupiter, something's wrong. Hello, Spaceport Control to all stations. Disaster alert. Rocket Cruiser Taurus overdue and unreported. Begin search operations immediately.
As the harsh, clanging signal of the distress alert is flashed out into space, all emergency elements of the Solar Guard go into immediate action. Radar scanners on Venus, Earth, and Mars sweep the void. Rocket scouts and rocket destroyers blast off at full space speed, searching for a trace of the missing ship. Back in Spaceport Control at Space Academy, all elements are fused into one giant coordinated effort.
Rocket Scout 7J4 from Spaceport Control. Cover northwest quadrant Mars orbit. Maintain communications with 9J3 and 8J6 on your flanks. That is all. Weather Station 9 Mars from Spaceport Control. Maintain double watch on all radar scanners. Contact Rocket Cruiser Orion and Rocket Scout 6J5 and event to site target. That is all.
Afternoon, Lieutenant Fremont. I understand you have orders for me from Commander Arkwright.
Yes, Captain Strong. Here they are. You're to alert your crew and prepare to blast off immediately.
What's that?
The Taurus, one of the ships that was bringing the children in from Titan Colony, is unreported.
Unreported?
Almost 2 hours overdue on its last position check. Commander Arkwright seems to think that the crew has been hit by the Titan disease. Now she's drifting off course somewhere.
Great galaxy, the children.
Exactly. They're absolutely helpless. And if we don't find the ship soon, they'll catch the disease.
If the ship isn't hit by a stray meteor first.
Well, we've alerted every ship we have. You'll be taking Dr. Lee with you. We're sending medicos on every search ship to inoculate the children with a new serum.
Right. Hey, wait a minute. According to these orders, I'm getting a replacement for Cadet Corbett.
Yes, he's just recovering from the disease himself, isn't he?
Yes, but he's almost well. I want him along on this operation.
Well, you'll have to take that up with the commander, sir.
Well, don't worry, Fremont. I will, and right now. The Polaris unit is the best rocket team in the Academy, and it isn't going to be broken up if I can help it.
Well, if it isn't the hotshot CO of the Muff Brigade.
That's enough out of you, Astro. How's Tom?
Pretty good. He's sleeping, so you're just in time to take over.
Take over?
Sure, in case he needs anything.
Now, look, Astro, I've been scrubbing decks and polishing brass till I'm blue in the face. And if you think I'm going to play nursey to Corbett now, you're off your orbit.
Well, the doc said Tom should stay in bed and get plenty of rest.
Hey, how can I get any rest with you two yapping away like that?
Oh, hi, Tom. How do you feel?
Fine.
What's all the argument about?
From the way this Venusian hillbilly's been giving orders, you'd think he was the class representative or something.
As a matter of fact, Roger, he is temporarily.
What do you mean?
Well, the student council is meeting tonight, and since I won't be able to attend, I've appointed Astro to sit in my place.
You appointed Astro? What does that dumb Venusian know about student government?
Hey, fellas, it's Captain Strong.
Hey, son.
Stand easy, boys. Tom, how do you feel?
Okay, sir. Oh, why shouldn't he? Lying around the sack all day.
Oh? And how do you feel, Manning?
Huh? Why, all right, sir.
Then I don't think you've been working hard enough. Maybe you'd better scrub down the decks all over again.
Oh, no.
Ah, you and your big mouth.
And maybe you'd better help him, Astro.
Here, grab a mop, Junior.
Never mind that now. We'll postpone discipline until this operation is over.
What operation, sir?
The rocket cruiser Taurus, carrying 50 evacuated children from Titan, is missing. We've got to join in the search.
Hey, hand me my fatigues quick, Astro.
Wait a minute, Tom. Are you sure you feel strong enough?
Well, of course, sir.
Well, Commander Arkwright wanted me to replace you.
Oh, no.
Oh, Tom will be okay, sir, and we can spell him. Give him plenty of chance to rest.
How do you feel about it, Manning?
We gotta take Tom with us, sir. Talking to this Venusian hillbilly is no fun.
What?
I can do it, sir. Believe me, I can. All right. I'll clear it with Commander Arkwright.
but don't let me down. Remember, a rocket ship crew is only as strong as each man.
I can pull my load, Skipper. Don't worry.
Right. Then report to the Polaris with full space gear immediately. We blast off in exactly 30 minutes. We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Say, Spaceman, I was talking to Astro the other morning down at the Space Academy mess hall. You know, Astro is in charge of the power deck on the Polaris, and that's mighty hard work. Well, anyway, when I caught up with him the other morning, he was having breakfast. Say, Astro, give me the lowdown. How do you keep up your steam working on that power deck?
Well, you see what I'm eating? Kellogg's Pep. Now, a lot of people don't realize the connection between work and food. What you eat and when you eat are important to how well you do your work. Now, that's why I tell everybody start each day with plenty of Kellogg's Pep. Pep gives you needed vitamins. Everybody needs vitamin D and vitamin B1 to keep in good shape. And Kellogg's Pep gives you a supply of both. Pep gives you lots of other food values, too. Food values that you put to work so you can do a good job. Now, that's why I eat Pep. Kellogg's Pep gives you more build-up food values than any other wheat flakes. And that's just what I need to handle the big burners down on the power deck. You spacemen take a tip from me. Sock away plenty of Kellogg's Pep. It helps you hustle, and besides, it tastes real good.
Well, you heard the man, Spaceman. Tomorrow morning, eat Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
Blasting off on a space-wide search for a missing rocket cruiser carrying evacuated children from Titan, the crew of the Polaris roars past the orbit of Mars, heading for the last known position of the lost ship. And in the crew's quarters, Tom undergoes a physical checkup by Dr. Lee, the medical officer accompanying them on the search.
Well, how about it, sir? Everything's okay, isn't it?
Yes, Cadet Corbett. You're getting along as well as can be expected. I suggest you get a little more rest, though. You overdone it a bit.
Well, I don't feel tired, sir. And I'm only standing 3-hour watches. Roger and Astro are covering for me.
You still need rest. Cut down your watches to 2 hours. All right, you may go. Check back with me again this evening.
This evening?
That's right, Corbett.
Oh, but Dr. Lee, I'm not that sick, honest.
I want to keep you from being that sick, Corbett. Frankly, I wouldn't have permitted you to make this trip. But now that you're here, I intend to see that you're not a drag on the crew.
Oh, well, very well, sir.
You may return to your station, but remember, maintain a 2-hour watch. No longer.
Well, Tom, what did Dr. Lee say?
Oh, the same thing, sir. I'm all right, but take it easy. He says any excitement would start the fever up again.
Well, he should know. So you'd better follow his orders pretty closely.
Gosh, I haven't been any help on this trip at all, have I? Everybody's been put to double duty because I haven't been able to stand my own watch.
Don't worry about that. We'll get along.
Well, how are the fellows holding up, sir? They must be pretty tired.
I'm afraid Astro is beginning to crack under the strain. Listen.
Rocket fields of the Academy to the far-flung stars of outer space, where space cadets training to be.
I see what you mean, sir.
Yeah, I'd better go down below and relieve him for a while. Think you can handle the control deck alone? Everything's on automatic.
Oh, it'll be easy, sir.
Tom, are you sure you're all right? You look kind of pale.
Well, it's nothing, sir.
Well, I'll send Astro up here right away.
Oh, no, please, sir. He needs rest. I promise you, if I don't feel well, I'll call you.
All right, Tom. It's 0900 now. You'll be relieved in 3 hours.
Oh.
Yes, Tom?
Well, nothing, sir. See you in 3 hours.
Radar bridge control deck, check in. Radar bridge to control deck, check in.
Huh? Control deck guy. Go ahead, Roger.
What's the matter, Tom? Why'd you answer me?
Oh, I was doing something. Any news of the Taurus yet?
No, but I'm picking up something else of my scanner. A nice fat hunk of space junk.
Space junk. We on collision course?
Oh, but you better change our heading to make sure. I like to give these babies plenty of elbow room.
Okay, what's the course?
Hey, you sound funny. What's the matter with you?
Nothing. Come on, give me that change.
Okay, don't bite my head off. Set steering vanes 2 degrees starboard. Past the front of the meteor.
Okay.
2 degrees starboard. Got it?
Yeah, got it. End transmission. 2 degrees. Whew. Awfully hot in here. I wish I could shake the cobwebs out. Now, let's see. What did he say? Oh, yes. 2 degrees to port. Control deck to power deck. Check in.
Lower deck aye. Go ahead.
Standby steering rocket, sir. We're changing course.
Why? What's the matter?
We're passing too close to a meteor, sir. Roger wants more clearance. It's all right, Skipper. I made the corrections. Just give me a short blast.
All right. Standing by.
Ready? Now. That did it, sir. We're all set.
Good work, Tom. I'll have Astro relieve you now.
Right, sir. Thank you. Control deck out. Boy, I didn't realize how tired I was. I'll be glad to hit that sack. Control deck out.
Hey, Tom, are you space happy? You turned the ship the wrong way. We're on a collision orbit with that meteor.
What? Well, give me a new course, quick.
Too late. Hang on. Here she comes.
Roger, you're all right.
Yeah, no damage up here. We're lucky she only swiped us astern. How's everybody below?
Hold on. I'll check. Stand by. Control the power deck. Come in. Captain Strong, this is Corbett. Come in, please. Roger, there's no answer. Come on down. Hurry. They may be hurt. Captain Strong, where are you? Captain Strong.
Over here, Tom. Near the starboard rocket head. Turn on the emergency light.
Oh, what is it, sir? Are you hurt?
My leg, I can't move it.
Hey, Galaxy, Tom, what hit us?
A meteor. Are you okay?
Just a couple of bumps, and Dr. Lee's all right. He's trying to untangle himself from his bunk.
Okay. Give me a hand with Captain Strong. He's hurt.
Right.
No, Astro. Check the power deck controls first. Find out what the damage is. I can hold on another minute.
Yes, sir. Our main drive is cut out, but that might have been the emergency circuit breaker. I'll fire up the tubes again and see what happens. Rocket's firing okay. Uh-oh. Auxiliary power is gone, sir.
Then we'll have to operate the ship manually?
Yes, sir, and the airlocks, too.
Oh, great. This is all my fault. I didn't take the right heading.
Well, let's not worry about that now, Tom. Give me a hand. I think Dr. Lee better look at...
Captain Strong.
Tom, he's passed off.
We'll get Dr. Lee down here quick. Gosh, Astro, I feel like the lowest and most stupid earthworm that ever crawled. What a mess we're in now, and it's all my fault.
Stop using your tubes, Tom. It isn't that bad. Our rockets are still firing. We'll be able to get back to Marsport okay. And the radar bridge is working off the emergency battery.
Yeah, but look what's happened to Captain Strong. And we have to give up the search for the Taurus.
Well, it's just one of those things. Maybe you'd better get some rest now.
Oh, no, I couldn't.
Hey, here's Dr. Lee.
Doctor, how's Captain Strong?
He's resting, Corbett. I gave him a sedative.
Is he badly hurt?
Well, he's not critically injured, if that's what you're thinking. It's his leg. It's broken. Pain and shock made him black out. He'll be all right once we get him to sick bay. You've sent a course back to Earth, haven't you?
Mars, sir. It's closer. We can make repairs there.
Very well. And now, Corbett, I think you'd better lie down for a while.
Oh, no, sir. I'm okay.
Don't you think you've caused enough trouble?
Oh.
Dr. Lee, I don't mean to be disrespectful, sir, but that's not fair.
Sorry, I didn't mean it the way it sounded, but obviously Corbett's weakened condition led to his error.
Of course, sir. You're right.
Radar bridge control deck, check in, quick.
Oh, what's wrong now? Control deck aye. Go ahead, Roger.
I just picked up a ship on my telescope. scanner. It's the Taurus.
The Taurus? Are you sure, Roger?
Yeah, positive.
Oh, great. We find the ship we're looking for, and we can't do a blasted thing to help. Yeah, that's the Taurus, all right, Roger. And she's dark, just drifting without power.
Looks pretty bad, Tom.
And you haven't been able to contact her at all?
Not a peep out of her.
Well, how about the other search ships? Can you reach them?
Not a chance. I don't have enough power, and I'm draining the emergency batteries fast.
Yeah, well, you better shut down everything then. We can watch the Taurus through the viewport.
Right. Well, what now? That ship over there is carrying 40 kids. They need the serum. How do we reach it?
I don't know, Roger. Without auxiliary power, we can't use our magnetic couplers. We can't even open our main airlock to take them aboard. And they certainly don't have enough spacesuits to transfer through the emergency hatches.
But if we go back to Marsport, the kids may not last until another rescue ship can get back here.
I know. Hey, wait a minute.
Huh? Wait for what?
Never mind. I'll see you later.
Where are you going?
For a walk. I'll see you later.
A walk? That character really is sick. Radar bridge, aye.
Roger, this is Astro.
Yeah, what do you want?
Where's Tom?
I don't know. Isn't he on the control deck?
No. At least at the end, he isn't answering the intercom.
Funny. Say, you don't suppose he blacked out again, do you?
We better double check.
Wait a minute. Here's Dr. Lee. Maybe he's seen Tom.
Manning, where's Corbett?
Huh? You too?
What?
Sorry, sir, but Astro just called me. He doesn't know where Tom is either.
I gave him strict orders to go to his quarters and rest. He isn't there.
Last I saw of him was about 10 minutes ago. He told me to cut my rocket power and drift next to the Taurus.
That's just about when I saw him. He told me he was going for a walk and great jump in Jupiter.
What's the matter, Manning?
Wait a minute. I've got a hunch that joker took a real walk for himself. Yeah, look out the viewport, Dr. Lee.
You don't mean that.
Look, there he is, in a spacesuit, using his oxygen bottles to blast over to the Taurus.
And that's my medical kit he's carrying.
Yeah, he's trying to get the serum to those kids.
Young idiot. In his condition, he'll never make it. He'll black out and go drifting off into space.
He'd better not, sir. If he does, we'll never be able to get him back.
To the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So, stand by.
Spaceman, being a cadet at Space Academy is a lot like going to any school. But cadets have to study and pass tests just like anybody else. Space cadets have physical training classes, too, just like you do. That's why you can learn a lot from them. Things to help you do a better job at school yourself. Now, breakfast is something a good Space Cadet makes sure he never misses. And you can just bet Kellogg's Pep is on that breakfast table every morning. Kellogg's Pep gives Space Cadets a supply of energy food to help them do their best in the morning. And Pep can do the same thing for you. You can work better, play better, and feel better if you put a bowl full of Kellogg's Pep under your belt every morning. Pep gives you essential vitamins, too. Vitamins you need to help you keep fit. Why, you get vitamin B1 and a whole day's supply of vitamin D in every single bowlful. That makes a difference, whatever you're doing. So, take a tip from the Space Cadets. Start your day the spaceman's way. Help yourself to the build-up wheat cereal, Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
Locating the missing rocket cruiser Taurus, the Space Cadets are seemingly unable to help the children trapped aboard because of the damage to their ship's power system. However, Tom, in a desperate effort to make up for his error, is blasting across the void separating the two ships in his spacesuit. While on the radar bridge of the Polaris, Roger calls him frantically.
Hey, Tom. Tom, come in. Answer me, will you?
Stop yelling, Roger. I hear you.
Then come on back here before you kill yourself.
Nothing doing. I'm almost aboard the Taurus now.
Tom, you're space happy.
Will you tap your tubes? I'm busy.
But suppose you pass out again.
I'll have to take that chance. I've got to get this serum to those kids.
We can do that, Tom. Astro and me.
Look, will you close your face? I haven't time to argue with you. Besides, you're wasting power.
Let me talk to him, Manning. Hello, Corbett. This is Dr. Lee.
Oh, yes, sir.
As your superior officer, I'm ordering you back to the Polaris. Hello, Corbett. You hear me? Acknowledge. Corbett, come in.
Great galaxy, I knew it. He passed out.
Did he? Can you see him?
No, he's behind the Taurus now.
Well, there's nothing we can do now to help him. We'll just have to wait and hope for the best.
Roger. Yeah, what's eating you, Astro?
Haven't you heard from Tom yet?
I would have told you if I had.
Well, what are we hanging around here for? Why don't we go after him?
How? We can't open a jet boat lock, or we'd never catch up to him in just a space
We're not helping him just sitting here.
I rather doubt that Cadet Corbett needs help, Astro.
Huh? What do you mean, Dr. Lee?
Look up the viewport here. There's a light aboard the Taurus.
Jumping Jupiter.
Rocket Cruiser Polaris from Rocket Cruiser Taurus. Come in.
Hey, that's Tom's voice.
Tom, is that you?
Not my ghost, Junior.
But I thought something happened to you. I mean, well, you didn't answer him.
I cut out. I didn't want to acknowledge Dr. Lee's order to come back. Listen, we didn't roll in good shape, aside from being cold and hungry. I inoculated every one of them with a serum.
You did? What about the crew?
Oh, pretty sick. They caught the type of disease all right, but they had the foresight to close off all the hatches. They quarantined themselves so the kids wouldn't get it. I've inoculated them, too.
Good work, Tom.
Now, I think we'd better get them to Marsport as fast as we can. If one of you characters will pop on a spacesuit and help me, we can get this ship underway.
Good idea, Tom. I'll keep Astro here on the Polaris with me. Dr. Lee can help you.
Okay. If you think the old pill pusher knows enough about rockets.
I'll answer that, man.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Corbett. This is Dr. Lee.
Doctor. Yes, sir.
For your information, this pill pusher is as good a rocket man as you are a doctor.
Yes, sir.
And in view of your actions and their end result, I suggest...
Yes, sir.
I suggest we ignore the entire affair. Just be thankful Captain Strong is still asleep.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So I'll join you in 5 minutes, Corbett, and I'll show you how a pill pusher can push a rocket.
Right, sir.
And here you are, Manning. Take over. I'll see you back on Earth.
Oh, brother, you really got out of that one easy, Tom.
I'll say. He isn't a bad guy at all. Too bad he isn't 20 years younger. He'd make a swell space cadet.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, on Tuesday, when the crew of the Polaris trails a stolen cargo through the void and are victims of a double cross in space. Tune in, same time, same station on Tuesday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal.
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in today's cast were Jan Merlin, Al Markham, Edward Bryce, and Louis Van Rooten. Today's program was written by Hal Rine, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Beck speaking.
Head of the everyday routine. Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all?
We offer you escape.
escape with us now to the barren wastes of northern Mexico and the story of a fortune in cash to be had for the asking, as Anthony Ellis tells it in his exciting story, This Side of Nowhere. You want to know where you can pick up $250,000? Well, I know a place. The money's in $100 bills. The last time I saw it, it was all in one place, and the people who had it were the friendliest people in the world. That is, if you don't mind their particular kind of friendship. There hadn't been much business in Missouri. Too much competition, and the yokels were spoiled taking rides in the new stuff flying around. My old Stetson didn't look like much, and I couldn't risk doing tricks in it. With me, when the customer paid $3 for a ride, that's what he got. A ride. So there wasn't much business in Missouri. I've been luckier in Kansas, though. Hit a couple of towns where a plane is still a fancy contraption. As I headed west, I was a couple of bucks ahead. About 50 miles east of Wichita, I put down in a grass field outside Willie. And I figured a day or so here would get me enough to buy a new tire for the right week. Oh, hello there. Is this your field?
Hey, that was pretty. Coming down out of the sky like that, I seen you from a long way.
You like planes, huh?
Sure.
Is this your field?
Yep. Down Fur's Golden Stream.
Well, look, I'd like to make a deal with you.
And so?
I'll be here for a couple of days. Let me keep the plane here, and I'll give you $5.
5? Well...
And a free ride.
You see, you got a deal. My name is Bill Maydew. Kate.
I put up my posters in town and waited, and by 6 o'clock that night I made $36. It looked as if the town of Willing would keep me around for maybe 3 or 4 days. I put the Stetson to bed in Bill Maydew's barn and then started out to find a place for myself. The old man walked along with me. Say, have you got any suggestions where I can put up while I'm here?
See that flying red horse sign up there?
Yeah?
Yeah. Right across the street is Maydew's Willing Hotel. Nice and quiet. $2 a night. Breakfast 50 cents.
Oh, yours, huh?
Yeah, it ain't fancy, but it's restful. Got a city woman staying there, down from Kansas City.
No?
Taking a rest.
Oh, that sounds fine.
Hey, we're having steak for dinner. I'll get the wife to put on an extra one for you.
With the steak inside, I felt pretty good. About an hour after dinner, I got a look at the hotel's other guest. She was tall, with a big, city, dry, crisp figure, and special-looking, too. She didn't seem to notice me as she went over to the desk and started to write a letter. I got quiet, and along about 9 o'clock, I was ready to hit the hay.
Excuse me.
Yeah?
You're the man with the plane, aren't you?
Yes, that's right. Name's Gannett.
Mr. Maydew told me about you.
Oh?
I'm Phyllis Naylor.
Well, it's nice to meet you.
I wonder if you'd do me a favor.
Why, sure.
I wanted to go to Wichita tomorrow, but the bus service is so bad I'd have to wait until afternoon.
Oh, you want me to fly you?
Yes.
Well, that's about 50 miles. I'd lose business here.
I'll pay you $50.
50? I wouldn't lose that much. Let's make it 25.
If that's what you want. Can we leave early?
Anytime. 7 okay?
I'll meet you down here at 7.
All right. So long.
You all set, Miss Naylor? Shall I put your suitcase on the plane?
Oh, no thanks, Mr. Maydew. I can manage.
We'll miss you. Come visit us again sometime.
Yes, I will.
Well, let's go.
I'll just come along and keep you company, Mr. Gannett.
Okay, it's all right with me.
No, I'd rather he didn't.
Well, it's your ticket. Anything you say. I'll pick you up when I come back, Bill. A couple of hours, huh?
I'll wait for you.
I'll go be up some business, huh? So long. Have, you done much flying?
Quite a bit.
Oh? Do any yourself?
Yes.
Oh, swell. Would you like to move up here beside me and take over?
Oh, no thanks.
Oh.
Mr. Gannett,
Yeah?
how much would you want to fly me to Mexico?
Are you kidding?
No. Don't you think it might be nice?
Oh, sure, but not in this crate. Short hops for me. Try the airline in Wichita.
I can pay.
I'll bet you can, but not me. The old windmill wouldn't take it.
$5,000?
Why?
I could buy a ticket, but I prefer you to take me.
Oh? Why?
Maybe because I like you?
I'm glad. Look, are you in trouble?
Of course not.
Then why don't you use the scheduled line?
That's not your business. I've got the cash. Will you do it?
No, you better try somebody else.
We're not going to land, Wichita.
Now, that's what you think.
I've got a gun, Mr. Gannett. Don't turn around. Here.
Hey, look, now be a good girl, will you? You've only got enough gas to get to Wichita.
You're lying. The gauge says full.
Well, it's broken.
I'll take a chance.
We can't make it in one hop. I'll have to come down sometime.
That's all right.
You don't want to get me in trouble, do you?
No. I told you I like you. Just as long as you take me where I want to go. Head south. Go on.
Okay. Where do you want to go?
Torreon.
That's over 1,000 miles. We'll never make that.
I think we can. Where do you think you'll have to stop to refuel?
I guess we can make Dallas if we don't blow up.
All right. Please remember, Mr. Gannett, I'm quite serious. I can easily shoot you and fly myself. I'd rather not.
Yeah. I'll remember. An hour later, we were flying over Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I turned around just once to look at her. She hadn't been bluffing. The gun lay in her hand, steady and pointed at me. I began to think about Dallas. We'd have to come down there. It wouldn't be hard to get the gun away from her then, but there was something else. $5,000. I thought of what I could do with it, and the more I thought, the more I wondered if I was a sucker. Why fly with a gun in your back when you can make a deal just for the asking? She was in trouble. That was her business. I didn't know anything about it, and I didn't want to. I reached for the map.
What are you doing?
Don't get nervous, honey. I just want to take a look at the map.
Oh.
Torreon, huh? Yeah. Cheyenne. Well, I'd say that's about 300 miles below the border, southwest.
I know.
That's bad country in between if we had to come down.
I know that, too.
Were you kidding about that $5,000?
No.
All right. Put away your gun.
What happens when we land at Dallas?
Gas up, check the motor, and go on.
If you try any tricks
Why
on...
should I? Good looker like you, $5,000.
Can I sit next to you?
Yeah, sure. Come on. There we go.
Your first name's Zeke, isn't it?
You've been reading hotel registers.
Yes. You won't be sorry about this.
I'll bet I won't. I was proud of the old windmill. I never thought she could make it, but by 5 o'clock that afternoon, we landed at a town a little north of Laredo. We talked about how we were going to get across the border. She still hadn't told me anything, but I knew that she wanted to get into Mexico with no questions asked. So we decided to steer clear of Laredo and border guards and hang around until it got dark and then take a chance. Took some extra gas aboard and went over the motor. Then there was nothing to do but wait for the night. We went to a cafe to eat. That's the American idea of Mexican food. Unless it burns your tongue off, it's not the real thing.
You done much night flying?
Oh, plenty. Used to be with a commercial outfit.
No.
They fired me for fighting with a passenger. That was before the war. Flew B-24s out of England and came back. Now I'm too old for jets and too independent for commercial jobs. So I'm just a sky bum. What's so funny?
Oh, you. You sound so tough. I wonder.
What?
About you. I think you'd make love like a high school boy.
You want to find out?
No. How soon do you think we can take off to Perium?
How about an hour or so?
What about our lights when we cross the border?
We won't have any.
Good.
Anyone ever tell you that you're good to look at?
Yes, but you can tell me again.
I like your eyes. They're soft sometimes.
Hi, Mac. Hi.
Sometimes mean.
Want to the party?
It's exciting, though.
No. Got patrol.
Hey, you're not listening to me. Well, that's the first time I've seen that.
What?
You looked scared when the cop came in.
Come on, it's time to go.
We took off soon after dark. I took her up to about 8,000 feet, and we crossed the border. Next stop, Torreon. Laredo was nearly 200 miles behind us when the Stinson died. Just quick, cold. We went down nice and easy. I couldn't see anything below. All I knew was that we weren't going to make Torreon. Phyllis didn't scream. She just watched me. Then before we hit, grabbed the suitcase up and held it in her lap. I remember thinking then it was a funny thing to do. And that was all for a while.
Escape, under the direction of Norman MacDonald, returns in just a moment.
How well do you know the history of your Army? For example, do you know when the U.S. Army's first dental corps was authorized? Your military history will tell you that an enlisted man, Dr. W.H. Ware, served as a dentist in the Philippines in 1898 as a member of the medical department. But it wasn't until 3 years later, in 1901, that the first recognized dental corps was authorized by Act of Congress. In that year, the Army was given permission to employ contract dental surgeons not to exceed 1 to every 30,000 of said Army, and not to exceed 30 in all. Thus, another page was added to the history of your United States Army.
And now, back to Escape.
I woke up. For a moment, everything was a surprise. I was alive. It was getting light. A lock of the girl's hair was falling over her eye. I reached out for it. Felt it. It was wet. Bloody. She was alive, but I couldn't tell how much. I looked at my watch. It was 4:30. As the gray light came through the broken window, I saw something else. A suitcase. It had broken open and spilled out 4 or 5 neat green packages. The thing was full. Packages of new $100 bills. Must have been $250,000. Phyllis? Phyllis? Phyllis, you okay? Come on. Come on. Come on, now, can you sit up?
Oh.
You all right?
Oh, my head hurts.
Well, take it easy for a while. Here, now, give me your gun.
No.
Come on. I want to have a look outside.
All right.
I'll be right back. We'd come down in a kind of basin, and all around were ridges and low peaks. It was rough country, all right. From what I could see, mean. I had an idea water was going to be a problem. As far as you could see, there was nothing but cactus and yucca trees. I started back for the plane, and that's when I saw him, sitting under a bush, his hat on his knees.
Good morning, senor.
He was round, and his face was the color of sand. And his smile were lots of flashing white and gold teeth. I guess he was mostly Indian. He had the happiest voice I'd ever heard.
You've had a terrible accident, senor. I'm so glad you're alive.
How long have you been here?
Since earlier.
How much earlier?
Oh, much earlier, senor.
Well, why didn't you try and get us out?
If you were dead, one must await a reasonable time to allow the spirit to depart.
Oh. Well, I'm glad to see you. My name's Gannett.
Gannett?
Mm-hmm.
You're American?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I love the Americans. They're so rich. I am Esteban. I will help you. There is another in the machine with you?
Yeah, a girl. She's hurt.
We take her to my village. There she will be taken care of. I'm so happy that you are alive, senora.
Where are we?
A little from my village.
No, I mean, how far from Torreon?
Torreon? It is many days from here.
Oh. What's the name of your village?
El Cielo. It means heaven, senor. You will like it. My people will be so happy to see you. Come, we must help your friends.
When we got back to the plane, Phyllis was on her feet, and I noticed that the suitcase was closed again. She had a cut on her head, but otherwise she was okay. She let me carry the case, and we followed Esteban for about a mile to a little canyon. And there we saw El Cielo. A dozen adobe huts sprawled over the canyon floor.
Let me take your suitcase, senor. I will put it where it will be safe.
No, thanks. I'll take care of it.
As you wish. Once you step in here, I'll bring you food and water.
Thank you.
Oh, it is a pleasure. I love Americans. You are our guests. We are happy to see you.
How do you feel?
Oh, much better, thank you.
I'm not so sure about that guy. I've heard about these Indians. They're not usually very fond of Americans, or any strangers for that matter.
Do you think he'll help us get to Torreon?
I don't know. The way he talks, it must be about 100 miles from here.
Oh.
Listen, honey, it's none of my business, but that suitcase of yours.
What about it?
Now, there's no sense kidding. I know what's in it.
Oh.
It's a good idea not to let these people know.
You've got a gun?
They'll soon not have to use it. You want to tell me about the suitcase?
No.
Okay. We let it go at that. Esteban brought us food, and afterwards we met the rest of the village. They were very polite. Too polite. I couldn't figure it out, but nobody can be that happy to see a stranger. Yeah, they gave us a hut for the night, and after the dogs had quieted down, it got very quiet. You asleep?
No.
How's the head?
Fine, thanks.
I'm sorry about this.
It's all right.
We're going to have to get out as soon as we can. These people are...
You think they'll make trouble?
I don't know. They're just too happy. There's something wrong, the way our fat friend looks at you.
Maybe he thinks I'm pretty.
Yeah, maybe.
What are you going to do about it?
But look, in the morning we're going back to the plane. There's a chance I can do something to fix it up. Just a chance.
Oh?
Yeah. Well...
You were telling me something back at the cafe in Laredo. About me?
Yeah, I was, wasn't I? I guess you're not very scared about all this, are you?
I don't want to think about it.
You ought to be thinking about it.
Dick.
Look, we're in a tight spot.
I don't care.
But I do. Maybe if we ever got out of here...
All right, high school boy. Good night.
The next morning, Esteban went with me back to the plane. It was still there. That is, most of it. Of course, they'd taken everything movable from inside, stripped the rubber tires off, stolen the prop. What about it, Esteban?
Senor?
Nice hospitality. I wanted to patch her up.
Senor, some dirty thieves must have come out of the night and done this
Yeah,
thing.
you can say that again.
Surely you would not suspect my people.
Oh, no, not your people.
I'm so happy then.
Well, you'll have to rent a couple of your mules. Maybe you'll guide us to a town that's got a bus or a railroad or something.
You have money to pay for these things?
Little, yeah.
We'll talk about it maybe tomorrow. Now we'll go back to the village.
didn't talk about it tomorrow or the next day or the next. Esteban always made some excuse. We weren't prisoners, but wherever we went, there was always one of them watching. Just watching and smiling. But there was something about those smiles. It was on the 5th day that things really went wrong. The villagers had left our hut alone, and I guess we got a little careless about the suitcase. Phyllis and I had been up to a ridge 4 miles away to take a look at the country and our chances for hiking out. When we got back, it was almost dark.
The suitcase.
What?
It's gone.
Well, I'll be...
They've stolen it. You think it's funny? Stop.
I'm sorry, but... What's that for? Don't you see how funny it is? $250,000 stolen by Indians? Where are they going to spend it? On what?
Got to get it back. You help me. I'll share it with you.
You will?
Yes. Listen, you might as well know. Remember the bank hold-up in Chicago last year?
Yeah. $1 million and security.
That suitcase is part of it. A friend of mine left it with me. He got out of the country.
Now he's in Perigis?
Yes. I was to hang around in small towns until things got quieter. And you came along and gave me a chance. I was to meet him in Torreon. I don't care about him now. It's you and me.
Oh.
We've got to get away from here. We can go to Mexico City or anywhere.
How far do you think we get in this country?
We'll take their mules.
Well, we can try. Esteban's the boy to find. You and me?
Yes. Yes. Don't you know that by now?
Okay.
Senor, what can I say? No one has been in your house. It is unthinkable.
Look, you know what this is?
It is a gun, senor.
Yeah.
Only the rich can afford such things.
I'm telling you to round up that suitcase or else. Now tell your friends. I mean it. Now go ahead.
El americano dice que tenemos que devolver la maleta. Si no, se va a enojar mucho y nos fusilará a todos, incluyendo a los niños.
Well?
They say they are very much afraid.
Get me the suitcase.
We brought you here when you might have died in the desert. Surely you would not harm us.
That's a lot of double talk. You brought us here to steal us blind.
Senor, you have made a terrible accusation. We're very unhappy. Perhaps you would care to search the village.
You get that suitcase. Ah, what's the use? There wasn't any use. I couldn't shoot them down in cold blood. I knew I'd never find the suitcase. I also knew that we had to get out of there. We'd lost the money, but at least for the moment we still had our lives. I asked Esteban from you.
Senor, a terrible thing has happened. Last night the mules strayed away. We have none left. It is a great loss.
So I could call him a liar. He was, too, but I couldn't find the mules. That decided it.
I'm afraid of them.
Yeah, I don't like the way Esteban's been looking at that ring of yours. We're going to have to make it out on foot.
Anything's better than staying here.
Oh, if I only had that map. Oh, well, I don't think they'll try to stop us. We'll start tonight when it gets cool. You better get some sleep. That evening, I heard the villagers moving around outside the hut. I kept our gun ready, but nothing happened, and then... about midnight, we took a couple of skins of water, some tortillas, and walked out of El Cielo. Nobody said goodbye. Nobody tried to stop us. But as I looked back, I saw in the moonlight a group of people huddled together, watching us. We walked for 3 days. Desert. Heat. Night. Cold. Then the water was gone. How you doing?
All right.
Try not to think about it.
Can we rest a minute?
Hey, better not. Not yet. Try to get to the hills. It's only a few miles. It'll be hotter. Now save your breath. Huh? Don't move. Don't move. It's a Gila monster. All right now, fellas. Don't move. Just don't move, now blow his head off. Now keep still. That's it. Keep still. She lived on for about 2 hours, then died raving, cursing me, the money, and herself. A week later, I was picked up. That was 6 months ago. The Mexican police tried to find my plane, but I couldn't tell them where it was. They'd never even heard of El Cielo. So, somewhere in Coahuila, Mexico, there's a village. Maybe if you go down there, you'll find a suitcase with $250,000. Or maybe you'll just find kids cutting paper dolls out of $100 bills. Just crash your plane this side of Torreon.
Under the direction of Norman MacDonald, Escape has brought you This Side of Nowhere by Anthony Ellis. William Conrad was starred as Deke, and Virginia Gregg as Phyllis, with Don Diamond as Esteban. In the supporting cast were Lou Krugman and Ralph Moody. The special music for Escape was composed and conducted by Ivan Ditmars.
This is the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
Wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Ralston present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Visions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol. In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Buzz and Happy are in their spacesuits at the base of a volcano on the planet Saturn, searching for a missing scientist.
Dr. Ramsey ought to be very close to this spot, Happy. This rough ground, it's hard to see more than a few yards. The doctor may have fallen into a crevice. Hey, Commander, listen. What's that rumbling? The ground's shaking. It's a volcano. It's going to erupt. We'd better find Dr. Ramsey in a hurry. Happy. Get back to the ship. Boarding level will be pouring down this fountain in a matter of minutes. Yes, sir. Watch your step, but hurry. Commander, our ship is gone. We're trapped.
We'll return in just a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, The Sleeping Demon of Saturn.
Say, what kind of jet jalopy are we riding in, Captain Tufeld? We'll never get to Terra City at this speed.
Well, I know what's the matter. This surface car's just got ordinary fuel in it. Let's drive into this filling station here and fill her up with super fuel. Let's try her now.
Wow, this jet cycle is supercharged now.
Sure thing. It's got super fuel. And Space Patrollers, there's a lesson in this for you. Ordinary fuel for breakfast, you're just a putt-putt. Super fuel for breakfast, you're supercharged. My advice is eat the super fuel Buzz Corey has in the morning. I mean Wheat Chex and Rice Chex, the super cereals that help to supercharge you. Real swell tasting, and they both have that modern bite-sized design for easy eating. So, gang, don't be a putt-putt. Eat the delicious super cereals that help to supercharge you. Rice Chex, Wheat Chex. And remember, inside of every package, there's a mysterious magic space picture. And now, today's Space Patrol adventure. Commander Corey and Cadet Happy are in the commander's flagship, the Terra 5, approaching the planet Mercury, where a few hours before, a minor quake shook a small section of that innermost planet. There were no casualties and no damage to property. Yet, within the hour, every planetary capital, every scientific laboratory was buzzing with excitement. Furthermore, it caused Commander Corey to make a special trip to Mercury. Why all this interest in a harmless quake? Because it was predicted 8 years before, almost to the minute. Intently now, Happy scans the viewscope screen as the cracked and fissured surface of Mercury spins below.
We're getting close to the scene of the quake, Commander.
I'm afraid it won't look any different than the rest of this part of Mercury, Happy.
Well, I suppose not, sir. But I'd like to be able to say that I was one of the first to see the location of the first scheduled quake. Didn't the Space Patrol newscast say that the doctor pinpointed the exact location and named the time 8 years ago?
Dr. Ramsey's predictions may have been just a coincidence. That's why I sent Tonga on ahead to Mercury City to contact him personally.
Well, predicting quakes isn't exactly new, is it, sir? I mean, in a general sort of way?
Up to now, it's been very general. Scientists have spread the predictions over areas of hundreds of square miles and allowed themselves several years leeway.
Assistant Security Chief Tonga, calling Commander Corey aboard Terra 5. Tonga calling Commander Corey.
Corey here, go ahead.
I've contacted Dr. Ramsey, Commander. He's in Mercury City.
Good. Did you talk to him about this Mercury quake?
Yes. He says the news reports are basically true. He did predict the exact time and location of this quake 8 years ago.
Well, tell him I'll see him as soon as I reach Mercury City. That'll be in about 30 minutes. Corey out.
Commander, look. There's something down there in that clearing.
What's it look like?
A wrecked spaceship.
A wrecked spaceship?
Yes, sir.
I'll set the ship down. You get our spacesuits out of the locker.
All right, Hap, into the ship. Yes, sir. Be careful you don't puncture your spacesuit on that jagged metal. Yes, sir. Commander, there's a man in here, collapsed over the instrument panel. Now, let's take a look at him. At least he's in a spacesuit. He's still alive. Quickly, Happy, let's get him to our ship. He needs oxygen.
Just checked with Mercury City Space Control, sir. They're clearing Space Lock 3 for us.
Good, Hap.
How's the passenger, sir?
Oh, he'll be all right. He's resting back aft. It was close. If we'd been a few minutes later, he'd have been finished.
What made him crash?
Defective rocket equalizers. It's lucky he wasn't killed. He told me he bought the ship at a bargain.
Some bargain?
Yeah. From nose to stern, that ship was fitted with obsolete equipment. Cheap metals covered with Endurium plating. He tells me he bought it from a man named Fran Gresham.
Fran Gresham? His name sounds familiar.
He was working a petty swindle game on Mars a few months ago. Our agents wrote that up, but they couldn't get anything on Gresham. And there's nothing petty about selling defective spaceships. That's potential murder. And this time, we're really going after it.
Well, Gresham, did you close the deal?
Our client insisted on inspecting the ship. The only thing we found in working order was a danger sign in the atomic power compartment.
That's the third sale you've muffed this last week, Gresham. It's costing me quite a bit of money to keep up the front here in Mercury City. What we need to do is create a demand for small spaceships. Something that'll make people want a ship and not be too particular about the condition it's in. Or the price.
That's a large order, Shrike.
I know. If we could start a fake uranium rush, say to one of the moons of Jupiter or Saturn, or some kind of panic. Panic. That's it. Get people frightened and then offer them a means of escape.
How are we going to get them frightened? And of what?
Did you hear about this scientist who predicted a quake here on Mercury?
I heard something about it. I didn't pay much attention.
His name is Ramsey. 8 years ago, he predicted a quake in a certain part of Mercury and called it almost to the minute. The quake hit yesterday.
So what?
Suppose we pay him some money and get him to predict what city is going to be hit with a quake within the next few weeks. We can sell those ships in a few hours.
Suppose there isn't going to be a quake near a city.
There won't have to be one. The very fact that this guy Ramsey is making a test near a city will make people worried. Then we'll start a few rumors.
Mike, I think you've got something.
I'll call on this Doc Ramsey. And I think I know just the city that's ideal.
I'm all ready, sir. There's a service car in front of headquarters waiting to take us to Dr. Ramsey's apartment.
Oh, we'll wait here a few minutes, Happy. I'm expecting a report from Tonga and this man, Gresham.
Oh, yes, sir. Oh, how's the man we rescued from the wrecked ship?
Oh, he'll be all right. But he's in bad shape financially. No company would insure that ship of his because he didn't have a Space Patrol inspection certificate.
So the poor guy has to stand the loss himself.
Mm-hmm. It's an expensive lesson for him.
Commander.
Oh, yes, Tonga.
I haven't been able to find out much about this Trans Gresham, but I've learned one thing. He's here in Mercury City, or at least he was within the last 2 days.
Where can we locate him?
I don't know. But he's been seen with a man named Rupert Shrike.
Oh, probably he's planning to sell Shrike one of his broken-down ships.
No, Happy. Apparently, Shrike is backing Gresham, helping him to put up a front to impress clients.
Tonga, assign 2 of our agents to tail Shrike. Find out how he contacts Gresham, and we can get a line on them.
All right, Commander.
Okay, Happy. Let's get over to Dr.
Mr. Stark, I find your offer very attractive.
Well, then you'll accept, Doctor?
Well, I'd like a little time to think it over. You see, I hardly expected to be called on to predict quakes for private persons. Tell me, Mr. Shrike, what region are you interested in?
Kepler City on Saturn. I have some property there.
You don't need to worry, Mr. Shrike. Kepler City is safe probably for centuries to come.
Well, then you've already tested it?
Yes, years ago. But you can rely on the assurances of other quake experts.
But Kepler City is fairly near a volcano, Doctor.
I know. The sleeping demon. That volcano is all but inactive. Sends up a little smoke occasionally. Even if it did erupt, which is unlikely, the city is in no danger.
But suppose a quake shifted the strata under the cone. Wouldn't that cause a violent eruption?
It would take a fairly violent quake to do that. And that's most improbable.
Make a test anyway. I'll raise my offer to 2,000 credits.
No, Mr. Sykes, thank you. Any further test would be a waste of time.
Look here, Ramsey. I came here with a legitimate offer. Don't pull this high-toned devotion to science business on me.
I'm not interested, Mr. Sykes. Now, will you excuse me?
You listen to me, Ramsey. I can make you mighty anxious to make that test if you don't listen to reason.
Is that a threat?
Take it as a threat if you want to. I've made up my mind. You're going to make that test. If I have to use force. Get rid of him. I'm not leaving here till I get what I want.
Very well.
Dr. Ramsey?
Yes,
Come in, Ramsey. Thanks. Come on. Yes,
Commander, this gentleman is Mr. Shrike.
How do you do, Mr. Shrike?
Nice to meet you, Commander.
Mr. Shrike feels he has urgent business with me.
We can discuss it later.
On the contrary, I'll discuss it right now.
Commander, I think this is something you should know. I never saw this man until a few minutes ago. He comes into my apartment and threatens to force
That's
me.
enough of that, Ramsey.
Let him talk, Shrike. You'll have your turn later.
Yeah, well, it's my turn right now.
Put away that ray gun.
Look out, Commander. Give me that gun.
Get back to that.
Oh.
You realize what you've done.
Yeah. I shot the commander-in-chief of the Space Patrol and this cadet. That ought to convince you I mean business. Now, come on, Ramsey. Let's go.
Where do you take him?
The Saturn. We're going to predict the destruction of Kepler City.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment. Say, gang, how are you at imitation? Well, this is Captain Dick Tufeld speaking, and here's my idea of how a cosmic surface car sounds with just ordinary fuel in its tank. But. Well, now here's that same car with super fuel in its tank. But. Yes, sir. That cosmic surface car is really roaring now because it's supercharged with super fuel. And the same is true with you, gang. What happens to you when you have ordinary fuel for breakfast? Well, you move like this. But. That's right. You're just a putt-putt. But when you fill up your tank with super fuel, man, you're supercharged. So eat a power breakfast with Rice Chex or Wheat Chex and get supercharged. Flavor galore in every bite-sized biscuit. Rice Chex, Wheat Chex. And inside of every package, you get a mysterious magic space picture. And now, back to our Space Patrol adventure, The Sleeping Demon of Saturn. Dr. Ramsey has perfected the method of predicting quakes. Two criminals, Shrike and Gresham, plan to force the doctor to predict a quake and eruption of a volcano near Kepler City on the planet Saturn. This, they figure, will create a near panic in the city, thus enabling them to dispose of defective spaceships at an enormous profit for people anxious to leave the danger area. When Dr. Ramsey attempted to tell the commander of Shrike's threat, Shrike whipped out a ray gun, rendered Buzz and Happy unconscious, then forced the quake expert to accompany him to Saturn. Now, an hour later, the two space patrolmen are regaining consciousness in the doctor's apartment in Mercury City.
I almost had him, Commander, but he turned the gun on me.
Well, he must have been out for about an hour. Shrike could be off Mercury by now.
Where's Dr. Ramsey?
Shrike probably took him along.
Well, what kind of business would he have with Dr. Ramsey?
Whatever it was crooked. The minute Dr. Ramsey started to tell us, Shrike pulled a gun. Let's get to Mercury City headquarters and send out an alarm. Where are we now, Shrike?
We just crossed the Mars orbit. How's the doc?
I put something in his coffee to put him to sleep. That'll hold him till we reach Saturn.
Good. We'll keep Ramsey pretty well under cover. But we'll be around with our quake detecting equipment, setting it up in the region of the volcano. We'll be seen by spaceships and atmosphere cruisers, lugging heavy equipment up and down the slope of the sleeping demon. Every 3 or 4 days, we'll come back to Kepler City looking very grim and worried.
Well, like we found out bad news, huh?
Exactly. And we'll drop a few hints, just enough to get people worried.
Like the volcano is going to erupt?
Yes. The wise boys will figure the authorities aren't letting the people know what's going on. So everybody will try to outwit everybody else to save his own skin.
How long is it going to take?
It'll have to work in about 3 days. So we can have our men sell the ships and then clear out. By the time the Space Patrol gets wind of it, we'll be...
Happy, are all those agents' reports in?
All except Jupiter and Neptune, sir. All negative. No word on Shrike, Gresham, or Dr. Ramsey.
It's been 3 days now. Shrike may dispose of the doctor just to keep him from talking.
Oh, sir, there's a message for you here to call Jupiter City headquarters.
Is it from Congress?
I don't know, sir. It just said Station 22.
Shrike is supposed to operate out of Jupiter City. Maybe Congress found out something. Commander Corey at Mercury City headquarters calling Jupiter City Space Patrol headquarters, Station 23. Commander Corey calling Station 23, Jupiter City headquarters.
Jupiter City headquarters, Station 23. Sanga here.
Have you located Shrike?
No, Commander. We can almost be certain that neither he nor Gresham came to Jupiter City after they blasted up the Mercury.
And you probably haven't anything on Dr. Ramsey either.
No, except a rather ridiculous rumor.
What kind of rumor, Tonga?
I heard it from an engineer who just got in from Kepler City and repeated it only because he thought it was a joke. Some people in Kepler City think Dr. Ramsey is making quake tests around the sleeping demon.
The inactive volcano near the city?
Yes.
Well, it doesn't make much sense. If Dr. Ramsey were there, he'd let the authorities know he was all right.
The engineer says he's talked to two intelligent men in Kepler City who are convinced that the sleeping demon is going to erupt.
Well, that's impossible. It's a dangerous rumor if it catches hold. I'm glad you told me about this, Tonga. I want you to contact Professor Hammond at the Jupiter University.
Professor Hammond?
Yes. He's also an expert on quakes. Tell him to go to Kepler City. Explain the situation to him. And tell him that we want a public assurance from him that the city isn't in danger.
All right, Commander.
And Tonga, when you reach Kepler City, check on the source of those rumors. Hurry out. Professor Hammond may be able to make people disregard the rumor, but I'd like to find out what's behind it. You and I'll pay a surprise visit.
Right, we better get out of here quick.
What's the matter, Gresham?
Just found out that Corey's assistant security chief is here in Kepler City.
What about it? That doesn't mean she's looking for us.
No, but she showed up with another expert on quakes, Professor Hammond from Jupiter University. Just released a statement that the public has nothing to fear. The volcano won't erupt. No quakes are possible in this region.
Good. That's wonderful.
What's so wonderful about it? She's going to buy our spaceships after they hear what Hammond says.
Who's going to listen to Hammond when the sleeping demon starts spouting molten lava?
What are you talking about? The volcano isn't going to erupt.
It will. With a boost from a cosmic bomb dropped into the crater. Huh? We'll put a time fuse on it, so it'll blow up in about 12 hours. Of course, it won't be enough of an eruption to harm the city, but it'll panic the population. Then we'll do plenty of business.
Make Hammond look silly.
Not only that, but nobody will believe anything the local authorities say after that. It'll be every man for himself.
What about Ramsey?
We'll put him in a spacesuit and leave him near the top of the crater. The volcano will erupt before he gets down. Dr. Ramsey will never be seen again.
Well, let's work fast. I want to get out of this place.
There's the sleeping demon in the viewscope, Happy.
Wow, that's some crater.
Impressive, but perfectly harmless. Kepler City is 10 miles east of the volcanic peak, just from the outer side.
And that's the Dardana River that flows past the base of the peak.
Right. When we get closer, you can see how the water has worn away the lava on the edge of the riverbank. It shows that the last eruption of the sleeping demon was thousands and thousands of years ago.
Assistant Security Chief Tonga calling Commander Corey aboard Terra 5. Tonga calling Commander Corey.
Corey here, go ahead.
Commander, you were right about those rumors. There's more to them than I thought.
What did you find out, Tonga?
Two men who have been making quake tests near the volcano fit the descriptions of Shrike and Gresham. The third may be Dr. Ramsey.
Where are they now?
They blasted up from Kepler City spaceport several hours ago. So far, they haven't come back yet.
Have you found out where they're staying in the city?
Yes, I have. It's at 147 North Polaris.
Well, watch it, Tonga. If they show up, notify headquarters.
Yes, Commander. There's one thing more. An atmosphere ship reported seeing a man in a spacesuit on the south slope of the volcano. Seemed to be under stress. Kept waving.
All right, Tonga. We'll check the slope before entering the atmosphere shell. Corey out. South slope. That's the side toward the river. Cut our velocity, Happy. We'll see if we can find them.
I don't see anyone, sir. The lava's so jagged and covered with mounds and gullies.
If our man is in the shadow, we'll never see him.
And if it's Shrike or Gresham, he doesn't want us to.
Oh, wait. Something moved down there, near the bottom of the slope.
I see it, sir. It's a man in a spacesuit, and he's waving.
Get our spacesuits out of the locker, Happy. We'll land on that level space near the river and go after him.
Looks right. We've dropped the bomb in the crater and left Ramsey down on the slope. Now let's get back to the city.
Don't be stupid, Gresham. We'll show up an hour after the volcano erupts with a story of how we tried to rescue our companion. But the lava got to him before we did.
Who's going to bother listening to us then? We'll be running around trying to leave the city.
Sure, but at least we'll have an alibi in case we need it. Uh-oh. Look down there at the base of the slope.
Spaceship?
Yes, and it's Corey's.
You must have spotted Ramsey. Let's get out of here, quick.
Wait till we're sure they're out of sight of their ship, and we'll set down near it. I'll blast off in Terra 5 and meet you in Turquoise Canyon north of here. The sleeping demon will be spouting lava in about 15 minutes. If Corey's ship is gone, we'll get him.
I've lost sight of him, sir. Head as straight up the slope as you can, Happy. For a minute, I got a good look at him. His white spacesuit really stood out against that black lava. It's Dr. Ramsey, all right. Oh. Hey, the gray rock, it slid right out from under me. Better stay clear of them, Hap. They're extremely light. If you just touch them, they're likely to roll. And it looked like it weighed a half a ton. That slab you stepped on is clear down the slope by the river now. It's likely to happen to us if we don't watch our step. Yeah, I wonder what became of Dr. Ramsey. He may have fallen into a crevice. Commander, listen. What's that rumble? The ground's shaking. It's a volcano. It's going to erupt. We better find Dr. Ramsey in a hurry. We're too late. Get back to the ship. Boiling lava will be pouring down this mountain in a matter of minutes. I'll go up a few yards farther. You head for the ship. Hurry. Yes, sir, but can't I go? Go on and watch your step. Commander, our ship's gone. There's our ship. Drifting toward the north. We're trapped. Happy, look. There's Dr. Ramsey. Come on, let's get him. With luck, we might be able to keep out of the way of the lava. Dr. Ramsey. Come on. We've got the lava container. He's been hurt, Happy. We'll have to help him. Commander, the lava's pouring down the side. Watch out for those rocks. Come on. Get to the bottom quickly. Commander, what are we going to do? The lava's almost on top of us. The river. That wouldn't do us much good. The lava would just come in after us. Right. Look, on each side of us there's a stream of lava pouring into the river. Yeah, and in a few minutes we'll be buried. But wait a minute. Look out there in the river. See those gray rocks? The rockets, they're floating. Rocks floating on water. There's some big flat ones near the edge. Each one of you get to one. We'll use them as rafts. Float down the river to Kepler City.
Beck, I don't like the idea of coming back to Kepler City.
We've got to destroy all evidence that we were here, then we can blast off. Besides, the whole town's excited over that volcano. They won't notice us.
Let's get inside, finish up what we have to do. I want to get away from here.
Don't be in such a rush. We'd better stick around and keep track of our salesmen. We don't want to be double-crossed on those spaceship sales. There we are. Well. Gresham, we have company. Huh? Grab her, Gresham.
There we are, both of you.
I've got it, Greg.
Let's go.
Hold her, Gresham. Now, this changes my plans. We'll have to finish her right here. Then we'll blast off.
Hurry up, then. There may be other Space Patrol agents around. That's all right.
Corey, get your ray gun, Gresham.
Not this time you don't. I'll get tried, sir.
All right, Happy. Pick up their weapons.
Yes, sir.
Are you all right, Tonga?
Yes, Commander. And I've got the names of the rest of the gang.
On your feet, Strike. How'd you get away from that volcano?
It was simple. We just floated down the river on a rock. Let's go.
You floated down... You don't expect me to believe that?
This Saturn is a very strange planet, Strike. If it's got an extinct volcano that erupts, well, it surely can have rocks that float. You heard the commander. Come on, let's go.
An exciting preview of next week's adventure in just a moment. It's a dark night, pitch black. The night you first see the purple comet. At first, it's just a blur. Then you see it clearly. A fiery comet flying through the dark. It's hard to believe, and yet you can see it. A huge ball of purple fire. You know what you've been looking at? An atomic particle on a 2-inch slide. And you've been seeing it through a microscope. The Space Patrol microscope. Buzz Corey sent it to you, and boy, are you glad. This amazing microscope magnifies objects 15 times their natural size. And with it, you also got that terrific slide containing the atomic particle. Yes, sir, Space Patrollers, that's the kind of fun you'll have when you send for your official Space Patrol microscope. And you not only get the mystery slide with the atomic particle on it, you get more slides, 4 more, all crystal clear. Slides you place tiny objects on. And when you do that and place them under your microscope, wow, you see objects 15 times their natural size. You see details that leave you blinking in surprise. Insects look like men from Mars. A human hair reminds you of a giant python snake. Why, you actually see the living creatures in a drop of water. What a microscope! What power! What magic! And just think, it's pocket size. You can take it with you everywhere, just 5 inches high. Yet it magnifies objects 15 times. And built Man, oh man, solid plastic body, solid plastic lens tube, solid glass lens optically ground, scientific guide chart, and foolproof markings for accuracy built right on a microscope examination platform. And the lens tube can be used all by itself to examine objects like the bark on trees, rust on tin cans, the webs of spiders. But don't wait. Send for this thrilling Space Patrol microscope kit today. Just buy a box of rice checks or wheat checks. Then with your name and address, send 25 cents in coin and a rice checks or wheat checks box top to Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. This offer good only in the USA and may be withdrawn at any time. That's Space Patrol, Box 686, St. Louis, Missouri. And now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are aboard the deluxe passenger spaceship, the Supernova, headed for the planet Saturn. As they enter a private compartment in search of a criminal, the occupant of the compartment pulls a ray gun on them.
Just keep moving down the corridor, Commander. You too, Cadet.
Going to a lot of trouble. You must be counting on taking quite a lot of money from Grayson.
Think what you like. All right, hold it. This is where we part company. Just open this little metal door. Now, crawl in there, both of you.
You can't put us in there. It's the ship's rubbish disposal chute.
I know what it is. Get in.
Well, before we reach Saturn, that chute will be emptied. Into space.
Yes, Commander. A blast of compressed air will sweep you out of the ship. No one will know where you've gone.
Be sure to join us next week for the thrilling story, Trouble Aboard the Supernova, when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Wilson again present Space Patrol. Special bulletin for boys and girls in Altoona and Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and Albany, New York. Buzz Corey's own space battle cruiser, the Ralston Rocket, will be in your area next week. Don't miss it. The Ralston Rocket. Gang, here's how you can make your own Space Patrol helmet. All you need are things like cardboard and paper clips. Read all about it in the August issue of Woman's Day magazine. Tells you how to make an official Space Patrol guard helmet and desert crash helmet. Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Mike Devlin. Other players were Nina Berra, Norman Jolly, Ken Mayer, and Stephen Robertson. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when wheat checks, rice checks, and good hot Wilson again present Space Patrol. Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol program on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. This program is broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.